Good evening, guys. We've got another Strat Chat coming with you with Dylarr Twi'lek Tactics. It's kind of a tongue twister. So it's really funny. Like I remember I found you originally on YouTube, and I was watching one of your videos, and I tried to tell somebody to go watch it because I was like, oh yeah, this guy had one, and I was trying to say her name, and I was just like I just couldn't get it out. But anyway, welcome.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's nice having you here. You're coming out of Vanguard, if I remember right.
Yeah. Shadowlands Vanguard. It's been a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
But, somehow I'm keeping up.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So I was in Final Order, and so now we're in the Maw Alliance, and we act like somewhat without any of our knowledge, just kind of fell into the gauntlet, and we got a really warm welcome. Our first matchup was Maw 2, and then our second matchup was in Caw Patrol. So they've been escalating. Yeah. So we were expecting to get Maw 1 next, just because why wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's the deep end, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that's who we just faced was Maw 1 in the last TW. So.
How'd that go?
It was a lot of fun. It was like about a 24-hour coordinated, taking turns, streaming battles, and we pulled out the win by 32 banners.
Oh wow, well done. Yeah, that's really solid.
It was a lot of fun. It was hats off to our TW officers who spent like 24 hours. Even before that, they somehow knew. I don't know how this algorithm, this magical thing in the air where people know who we're fighting next. Like, we know apparently who we're fighting in the next two TWs. I don't know. But
there's some rotation that they must have cracked or something.
Must be. I don't know. So they're already planning for Caw Patrol and whoever next week. So yeah, no, it was good. It was a rough battle though. It came down to the wire. So I think we had 2 hours to clear 2 zones of ships and a little bit of the zone in front of ships. But I think we came down. We had 10 minutes or 12 minutes left by the time we cleared the final battle.
Man, that's actually like one of the toughest things that happens when you get kind of not stuck so much, but when you take so long to get that zone in front of ships down, and then you just got like this really short dash where you've got to run through both ship zones really quickly, and it's one of those where you're just doing like you're in the bot going like who has negotiator, who blah 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 blah, blah, and you're like, or who has malevolence or whatever you've kept, right? And you're just like, all right, who can kill this cleanup like cheaply, who's got rebels right now, like that kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. And Mother's Day kind of like set us back because like people were gone for huge chunks of the day, the prior day, so it was just like get it done while you had the chance, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But I'm gonna say I was glued to my phone too. The next day it was Monday morning. Like I didn't get a whole lot of work done. I just kept staring at my phone. So
yeah, just like come on, open up a zone that I can kill something. Like show me something I can kill. Like I've got my counters ready. Let's do it. Like. And it's definitely interesting. Like we were a little bit overawed, I think, because we saw the Maw tag in our first jaunt in the gauntlet, right? And I think it's one of those I didn't think we did as well as we should have. I think we kind of like dialed it in because we thought we were gonna lose, and then at the end we realized, fuck, we could have won this. What happened? Yeah.
Well, there's only so many teams, right? Like until they give us more teams to place on the board, it's just you set these teams, you plan for these teams, and then it's like your GAC 5v5 right now. Like you're usually left over with a whole bunch of stuff on the bench. You just gotta do some history, look at what they usually like to set, look at their moddings, and then you can kind of remod to plan your counters, and then those are the only teams you use. Like, so
that was one thing is when we got into the in Caw Patrol, like obviously that's nasty. They had like 25,000 6E mods more than us or something like that. Like that kind of thing. But I don't know, it was really funny. Like looking at that one, we did a lot better, I think. Like once, the Mother's Day lull came over, we started doing pretty well. And it wasn't as ugly as I was expecting it to be. And it was one of those ones where at that though, we did a little bit of like tweaking to some counters. So we're going to have some new counters for the next Territory Wars, which I think is going to be great. I was practicing one earlier today, and I was pretty happy with it. Not going to go too much detail, but like it's one of those ones. Like it's one I've never seen before, so it's something our guild leader was working on for a while, and he's like, I think it's ready.
Proprietary.
Not really that so much. It's just one of those, like, you don't want to give away. I don't think it's a proprietary thing because I think everybody's seen almost every comp, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even me. Like, there's nothing new in the game right now. Like, so we've seen everything. Like, we've either tried it and said no. Like, there's, like, one of the things I noticed, because I just kind of got moved to the war planners committee, essentially, where we're talking about stuff, is, you know, there's a fair amount of dissension on little things in a counter, right? Like somebody thinks this is better and somebody thinks this is better. They both work for them, but you know, it's one of those like, can we make it work for everybody kind of things. And yeah, it's one of those. So I don't like that whole proprietary thing, but obviously you don't want to talk about what you use because then somebody can go, oh, well, so-and-so said they use this, so let's just play this because that'll fuck that up. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that's what it's more about.
But we say that you know nothing's proprietary because it seems like it's like common knowledge to us.
Yeah.
But you must experience this in some of your Twitch streams. Like you'll use something that's kind of out of the box, and you'll get a whole bunch of people going, "What the hell is that? I can't believe that worked."
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I actually I have had that before where I've used something and somebody's like, "Wait, that works? Like, how does that work?" And it's like, "Well, this," and it's funny because those little things, you know, like the only reason, say, we would know that is one guy in our guild or whatever thought of it and it worked, or saw somebody else do it and then translated it to us. And so, I mean, it's not surprising that because I mean, specifically like for the duration of time that you've been up at the top, I mean, you've got to have seen just about every counter that's coming out. And, you know, I bet you there's some that just blew your mind when you saw it and you're like, that shouldn't work, but it works. Like, that is so good.
Yeah, they're definitely. You see them in TW and you practice them and you do them and you stream them. But then I get into GAC. It's like, yeah, I'm a little too scared to try it here. So we'll just go with old reliable and plan around it.
So that's the funny thing. Like I don't do a lot of the riskier stuff in GAC. Like every now and then I'll be like, I'm planning a soft counter here, so we're gonna see how it goes. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But usually it's one of those where the threshold of modding of my opponent is, it should be quite easy. So I'm like, this should work. I mean, it gives me an opportunity to save this other team, so let's try it.
Well, just like my last battle, like somehow I still don't really understand how this happened, but it was I was going up against a Ray with the heroes, and then I think it was like JTR, and I think it was R2 or it was probably Holdo, and I took in C, Watt, and armor, and still lost.
Wow.
And like I lost bad. Like they got heal immunity on C. They didn't focus on anybody else. They burned through all his health before I could take a turn. I managed to get protection back, but it wasn't enough to save me once Ray went into ultimate.
Yeah.
So then it was like, okay, crap, now what do I use? So, well, I do have my solo SLKR. I can take in some trash and clean it up. But I was holding that to go against Darth Revan. Now, what are we going to use Darth Revan? All right, let's try the Bounty Hunters.
Yeah.
And it worked flawlessly, but that's a counter I would not have used just because I didn't. That's kind of like plan B. That's like, it works, but only use it in break glass in case something goes wrong.
Yeah. That actually kind of happened to me. My Vader counter. So I actually lost my last GAC. It's the first time in like 4 months that I've lost or something like that. And it was my Vader counter dropped, and it was a pretty ugly drop too on a Darth Revan. I was like, I mean, I've literally coached this like, I don't know, 80 times, 90 times, 100 times in Territory Wars. I've never had it go wrong. You know, one time I called it out wrong and it failed, but that was my bad. I just misspoke. You know, stuff like that. I'm just looking at it, I'm like, I don't even know how that happened. Like, I'm going to have to go back and, like, watch it and be like, what this shit went on? I mean, I had an idea what went on at the time, and I think that was right. That's why I haven't really gone back to audit it, so to speak. But, you know, it's one of those where I just don't have a bunch of pre-taunts, and Malik was going first for their team. So I used Tarkin to go first through Malik. Malik dropped. And then usually I have Thrawn going before Vader. And so that's like a big change. So essentially I can fracture on set and then get into Merciless, like focused on Malik so that there's some dots going there, and then he gets the defense down and exposed, and I can throw him first, and then I force crush on set, and I can go all the way around and still have Merciless and throw Darth Revan. But this time I had to do, because I didn't have the fracture come out first, I had to launch on set and then force crush set. So it set me back like the one turn in the turn order. And I just didn't get around. When I finally got to throw it at Revan, it was, I'd already cleared Merciless, and then it didn't crit. And I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. And I was like, and there she goes.
Yeah, no, we've all had that happen.
Yeah. It's like one of those.
Your record's pretty good in GAC. You just said that your first loss in how long?
Yeah. So I think I've only lost maybe 10 or 12 times ever, something like that.
So what's your secret? You outmatch your opponents that much? What's your GP? What kind of range are you in?
Right now I'm at 6.1 million. I've got 3 Galactic Legends, 2.2 on my top 80. So I overmatch a fair amount of my opponents. But this has been something like I've been building for a long time. But I'm a newer player, so I've always been just hyper focused. So it was like once I got to a certain amount of good teams, then it was just a matter of I'm ahead of my opponents on G13s a lot. So my secondary and tertiary stuff really causing problems. So right now I'm in a weird spot where I usually out GL my opponents now too. So that's a weird one.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice thing. And I'm working on Ray right now. I figure that's the next move. I've got 6 G13s until I have Ray. So I think I'll have her in about 2 months or 6 weeks or something like that, depending on kindness of drops.
Just in time for the next one to come out, right?
Yeah, but I don't think I'll be able to get him for a couple of months. I won't have Cam Relic for 4 months or something. So I very much am strongly in that on the side that thinks that Cam is like a relic Cam is going to be required.
It's anxious, that topic.
Yeah. Like I made a video on it, and it was just one of those because the reason is in my Discord server, a couple of people were like, well, my guild is like a low guild. We're nowhere near Cam, and you keep saying Cam's going to be there, and it makes sense. Like it makes sense for that. But like everybody is relicking their Islas and Maces and stuff, and they don't have even a 4-star Cam, and I'm just sitting there going like, I'm gonna make a video on that. Just give it to your guild, and they'll figure it out, like that kind of thing. Like, if it's not there, great, just hoard the materials. Like, don't waste them on 2 Jedi that you're not going to use for like a year. Like if you're stuck.
People have short memories. Like one of the common criticisms I hear when I say that is, well, there's no way they're going to do that because you're gating so many players into waiting. Like, say, yes, you can go to a good guild, and maybe 3 months and you got Cam, right? But they're like, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't gate someone 3 months to get a GL. And how quickly people forget that when they dropped
Master
Luke, you could only get, if you didn't already have Jedi Knight Luke, you were waiting
3
months until the event came back. So they've done this before. They're going to gate you. They're giving you the time. And Cam's been out for
a year.
Like, it's been
more than
over
18 months. 18 months he's been out.
Exactly. So if you're a high-end player and you're in a low-end guild, then they're going to force you to move. I also agree that Cam is going to be required because it makes sense. It's going to
really does.
It's going to push sales. You're going to have to spend gear to gear up your 501st, your Shock team, and then you're going to have to jump guild.
And then I think Bad Batch. I definitely think that Shock T Arc, Wrecker, Tech, and Echo, or Mecco, or however you want to call them, Mecha, Tech, Echo. I think those 5 will body the Cam mission. I haven't seen it, but like with the stealths and foresight and heals and all the recovery in the team, and the recovery on them is just nuts. Wrecker's going to be getting 16% every time or whatever that Mecha does a basic. Like, that's ridiculous. When you look at that mission, it seems like the Reek does all this crazy damage. It just doesn't, because it's just 501st have no recovery. Like they just have none. Like your only heal is coming from Shock T. And that's it, and that's not a crazy heal, and you get it like once every 4 turns or something like that, every 3-4 turns. So once you've got Tech dropping an 80% heal on Wrecker, right? Reek's only going to be hitting characters besides Wrecker with the AOE every 4 or 5 turns. I'm sorry, they're going to walk that mission as long as the damage from Arc is there. I just don't see it being an issue.
I agree as well. Except I don't think you can have Shakti on that team. I think you're gonna run the full 4 Bad Batch and Arc.
Don't you have to run Shakti? Or
No, you don't. You don't have to. It's just because whoever's in the lead
Yeah.
gets the standalone ability.
Oh,
and
okay,
You don't.
yeah.
You don't have to take her.
So
'cause,
there it is. Hunter, the Bad Batch with Arc. I guarantee that will walk. Shakti was the part where I was like, man, if only Hunter was there. But yeah,
No, you can take Hunter. I had a guildmate try it the last month with only the 2. He had, I think, only 2 were available at the time. So he tried the Hunter lead with 501st, and it just wasn't enough because the team was incomplete, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the synergies weren't there. But now, I think after this this light side TB, we're going to see the videos coming out from those people at the high end, especially Arnold.
Yeah.
Like he has to try it. He has to try it.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
legitimately, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
And
one of
like
those.
I agree.
Yeah, I've got the feeling that it's going to be an easy mission with Relic Bad Batch, and I don't think it's going to need ridiculous mods either. I think it'll be pretty straightforward. So when they released Bad Batch, when I saw that, I literally said, I think in one of I do like a talking stream with other players and stuff, usually on the off week, and during that one I was like, with Hunter, with the kit where I see all this kind of like tomfoolery there, if Tech has got, big heals or something, I think they could basically make the cam mission trivial, so that people can catch up to cam really quickly once they get their Bad Batch going. And the more I've seen, I mean, now that the 4 are out, 100%, especially if you can use Hunter lead. Like I for some reason, I always thought Shakti was mandatory, but man, Hunter, if you can use all Bad Batch with Arc, oh, they're going to destroy that mission.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, so, I mean...
And then Reddit will go crazy. And the forums will go crazy with hate.
Yeah, of course, because they're going to be like, oh my god, so people who spent $1,500 on 4 characters can now get a cam mission easy, and, I've got blah, 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 I'm gated by this many months, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what this game's all about.
But you don't have to. I did not whale on any of the Bad Batch. I bought whatever it is. It's for us. It's what, $29
$27,
Yeah.
$27.99, I think. But
So
I
what
did
that's-
buy all those. I
Yep.
I always buy those for the marquees, unless the marquee just doesn't look great. I didn't buy it for Bo-Katan because I was like, whatever, I'll get her whenever. I don't care. But yeah, I did get those.
So you don't have to spend too much. Like you buy all of them. Yeah, okay, it's whatever. It's $120. Okay, $100. It's $100. But now the Hunters is like they're speeding through Hunter. Hunter went into shipments in what was it? It wasn't 6 weeks like it normally was. It was like 4 weeks shipments. He's been in shipments now for a week, so 3 weeks he's going to be free to play farmable. In like 1 week, Tech is going to be in shipments, and then it's going to just roll through. So what I'm doing is I'm buying them their shards at shipments until they're 6-star.
Yeah.
And then stopping, and then I'm going to free to play farm them while I'm buying the next ones out of shipments. So really, if you do it that way and you really plan out and you save all your crystals from your arenas, you can get all the Bad Batch relatively cheaply. I'm not going to say free to play.
Yeah, relatively
because you
cheaply and
can't.
relatively quickly.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, so
someone that wants to go for JML, there's your option.
Or Master Kenobi or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on that note, like I totally agree. That was something I thought about, whether I should go Bad Batch or Bando, because I still don't have him yet because I've been catching up basically. Because I'm like about 3 years, less than just under 3 years or something playing. So getting that 4th GL I think is going to be really important, especially for my guild and territory wars, and having an extra GL and light side GO obviously is going to help. So it was like that was my main focus, and then I was thinking I get Bando because Razor Crest should be pretty good. Have you been playing around with it yet, or?
Yeah, I was doing testing today because I'm sure you watched the Arnold video where it said he could auto negotiators with the mace and the bounty hunters.
Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't click on it. I was doing something else, so I was like,
I could not make that
later.
work. I don't know what he was doing, what kind of sauce. I'll have to go back and look again, but I could not make that work because with just Houndstooth, like Anakin was putting buff immunity on him, and then 5 was cleansing it, and then it was like, then everybody's wide open. Cad Bane is squishy. Like, I could not make it work, especially on even manual, let alone auto.
Yeah.
So The Razor Crest, though, at 5 stars is very, very tanky. I was impressed with that, but the team as it is right now,
It feels like it's
I
missing
don't know.
something.
Yeah, it's missing something. But then it's unfortunate too because you want to bring out Boba Fett, but you bring out Boba Fett and he taunts and then he just
he
gets
gets
melted,
nuked.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what that team's gonna need. Maybe Clone Sergeant off the bench is the first tank.
That could work if you got a relic Sarge. That's not a bad call. What I was thinking about with something like that is maybe the move isn't to have Cad Bane in the starting lineup, and you go with someone like IG 2000 for a stun because he's fast and he'll come and be able. I think he'll be able to stun Anakin right off the bat before Anakin moves if you've got him relic 7, I think.
Yeah, that's a big ask. Relic 7 IG, especially. But Cad Bane starts under stealth, which is why he's nice because then they have
Yeah.
to attack Bam or the
Yeah, the
Houndstooth.
tanks. Yeah, but I was just thinking that stun to start would be really helpful in just slowing them down a bit.
Good.
Yeah, there's a guy in my shard. He's got a Relic 7 IG 88 with 6 mods on it, and it's really crazy. Like when he got the Malevolence first, and he's about the only Malevolence that people avoid, just because it can go really wrong. If the stun hits Anakin, and then coming off the bench, you've got Sunfac with another stun. If you get double stun on Anakin, you're done. Like your game, it's game over. You cannot win that battle. I don't care what you got on the bench, just because you just haven't done enough damage fast enough, and they get to their ult, and they've nuked your tank, and it's a nightmare.
It's a lot of commitment to
Yeah, to a character
him,
though, yeah.
right? Basically just to the ship because I don't think I don't know where I wouldn't use him.
I don't have anywhere I would use him at the moment. You know where he might be nice actually is under Bando, because of that AOE to start. We'll get those turns out. That might be fun. But that's
is
just
is he a scoundrel or
yeah.
is he
He's
just a bounty hunter?
He's scoundrel droid bounty hunter.
Right.
Or at least
Yeah.
I think he is. I have to double check that, but
Yeah.
you know, because it was one of those. Somebody was using one of the guys in my Discord was he uses Dengar there, Relic Dengar, and I'm like, ooh, that's a good little ass because he's gonna start pumping out those AOE's and stealthing and doing all the fun stuff that Dengar does, and anything that kind of screws up anybody's, I guess, day with their counter to Bando, that would be a good little ad.
Yeah, I'm trying this week of GAC. I'm actually putting my Bo-Katan on the BAM team just to see what that does.
That's interesting because with her unique, I think it is. God, I need to double check that now. Like, it's her unique that helps the Mandalorians, so there'd be a lot of extra buffs going to her. Man, I really haven't looked at her kit too heavy since I
think
made
it
the
just
video.
gives some extra protection. I don't think the healing is there. That comes from her lead. But
Yeah,
I decided I wanted just to do that because I was running L3 and everyone seemed to get through L3 no problem. So I figured I'd throw her on there just for a little extra. You know, the days is probably more beneficial.
yeah.
IG-11's tanky enough, and it's just. I don't know. With Nest on that team, it's like, okay, what do you get? You do have to take something against it, right? Like,
You've got to use something pretty good. I know people have been successful with bounty hunters there, which is a pretty easy spend. That's not something I've tried. I'm assuming there's a speed thing. You have to outspeed Quill. I'm guessing because
if you're fast enough to outspeed Quill, which isn't tough if you're on a Django lead.
That's not a big ask at all. Yeah. Especially where we are, I'm assuming we both have our bounty hunters geared up and modded up to take out a Darth Revan if we need to. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like it shouldn't be that much of a problem. It's one of those where once again I just haven't pulled the trigger on it. Like I'm like, I've never done that before. Maybe we won't do it this time. Yeah, that's actually what happens to me a lot with GAC when it comes to a Darth Revan. I'm like, I think I could bounty hunter this, but let's go with something safer. Just like one of those. I always hate the how do I clean up the Darth Revan thing. I'm just checking that unique really quickly on Bo-Katan. Yeah, 20% max protection for each Mandalorian ally.
Yeah, so he's a little bit tankier, right?
Yeah, he'll get a little bit tanky because it'll be the two Mandalorians, him and Bo-Katan, right? So 40% protection. That's pretty good little boost, actually. It's not a bad call. and it's
Oh,
like,
we'll try it.
yeah, we'll see how it goes. This is probably the last, the end of being able to try a bunch of different stuff like that in GAC, because those extra teams are going to be nuts. So you're going to get what, extra 8 teams you have to have?
Yep.
4 and
Yep.
4.
I think I already got them planned out, but like you said, yeah, now Bo-Katan's not going to go on that team. Now I'm actually going to have to use her with Mandalorians for offense.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I'm excited to do. Like it's going to be I'm stoked for these changes because I want to be able to use just out of the box teams like that. Like otherwise I'm never using Mandalorians against opponents that we're going to face in our brackets right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's one of the things that I kind of find interesting, because I'm going to be pushed back into Division 3, and usually the people I match up with now in Division 1 like can't hang with my account depth on the G13s. I'm like, what's that going to do when I'm able to put out 2 more good G13 teams? Like, it's going to be ugly for my opponents when they see it, and I'm only going to have to do 1 fleet. And like, I got 5 fleets. like I've got 5 good fleets. Like, I've been, as a side project working on my rebels, because I think that team's just a really handy attacking team to have, because you can take out so much with that relic Biston. And it's just like, like, man, I'll definitely be able to clean up any losses. That's for sure. Like,
yeah, rebels are. I've been working on them too. Like I got an R5 Bistan and Scareful Pathfinder, but dicey. I don't want to risk a negotiator fight in GAC when I can just use Mallow and then First Order or whatever else they put.
yeah. That's sort of where I am. So I've been kind of like toying with setting both Get 2 fleets. So I did that like three battles in a row, 3 of the last 4 or something. I set both Malevolence and Negotiator, just to be like, all right, clear my fleets. I'm pretty sure I can clear yours. And that's it's ballsy, because I'm totally just like waiting for someone to drop the dime on me and just be like, okay, here's both of mine. Let's see what we can do. Like,
so what are you using to kill Negotiator if your opponent has that on defense? Are you using your rebels?
I was probably going to go with rebels, but I might actually go with Finalizer first. One of my guildmates, E-Grace Gamer, I think you know him.
Yeah.
So he's really brilliant at that Finalizer counter on the Negotiator. So I've seen him do it a bunch of times. So that'd be one of those I'd be like, tag E-Grace, dude, are you online? I need some help. It's interesting. So I remember one GAC one Territory Wars, we busted out some finalizers on Negotiators just to kind of move things along, and it was pretty good. The way the comp they had set, he was like, the comp they've set, like, let me walk you guys through it. This is gonna work. And
well, that's interesting.
I
can't say I've seen that before.
Yeah, like he swears by it. Like, he's really hyper developed his finalizer, and it's dazzling when he uses it. Like, he almost always sets both Get 2 fleets, just because he's like, I can kill Malevolence easy, I can kill Negotiator easy with whatever I got, so I'm cool. And it's like, all right, well, great. And usually gets it in the first time. It's pretty interesting. Like, especially the finalizer on Negotiator, he's just like, ooh, great. And there's like one reinforcement that can fuck him up, and it's just like, is it here? Is it here? And reinforcement comes out, it's not. He's like, and it's over. Like,
I might have to go back and watch some of his streams, catch one of those.
Yeah. He's usually going about 10 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, around 8 p.m. your time.
Oh, so he doesn't post to YouTube after the fact. He's just a Twitch guy.
Yeah, he just streams, and sometimes he doesn't. He'll just be like, I'm busy that day. I'm just gonna fuck around and do it in the morning tomorrow. Yeah. But I think he archives his stuff, so if you go to his channel on Twitch, you can probably go catch him his older streams. But like I said, he usually sets both. He gets into that, like, ooh, we've both set both of our Get 2 fleets. Let's see how this goes.
So are you disappointed that you only have to set 1 fleet now?
Actually, yes. I really dislike that. I think that's one of the worst changes they could have done. I think everybody that was in Division 1 previously should have to set 2. I genuinely don't like the fact that they're pushing me back to 1. To me, that's just silly. Like, you've required this of me for months. Why? Like, why take that back of all the stuff, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. They should have just left. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it's CG. They
Yeah.
sometimes do silly things.
So like the new divisions, I think 4+ should be doing the 2 fleets. And here's the thing: I get it. Some people don't have four fleets back there, but that's fine. That means your opponent probably doesn't too. The way you guys match up. So both you set one trash fleet. Who cares? Just take your 64 banners or whatever, 65, however you want to smash it, and then work on the other one. Like,
Yeah, but the algorithm right now, as is, doesn't really take into account ships in matchmaking, right?
I thought it did. I thought it was like your top 16 ships or 12 ships or something like that.
I don't know, because I run the hotbot comparison. It's always bang on. That top 65 is just like to like 1,000 within each other whenever I'm fighting an opponent. And ships are just, they could be
All over
10
the
grand
place.
out, 20 grand
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think they play any part of matchmaking, because I think when you read, we used to, I don't know where it is now, but you used to be able to read a description that said it was matched on the amount of characters that you set times two,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
that is totally plausible. But I know CG has been trying to get people to invest in their fleets, like really, really, really trying to get people to invest in their fleets, and I don't think they've been super successful with it. So
they,
if,
no, they're
yeah.
not.
So it's like if that's it makes more sense in that way to go with what you're talking about, where they don't have any say in the matchup, because then fleets are basically free. So they'd be like, all right, you don't want to work on your fleets? Fine. Your opponent can, and that doesn't play into the matchmaking whatsoever. Have fun.
I would not want to start like these people that have all these alts. I don't know. Do you have a couple alts?
Fuck no.
Or just
No way.
yeah, no.
Like,
Like
that's a time sink beyond time sink. I
yeah.
when I see people with a bunch of alts, like I get it if you've got like a ticket alt and you can do some merking and stuff like that, and maybe you've developed it a little bit, you do its GAC and stuff like that, just for fun. I get that, but I don't know how they do stuff like now with the conquest. Oh God, doing that on
What do
two
you wanna do?
accounts. I swear to God, I'd rather hit my dick with a hammer.
But yeah, yeah. But in regards to ships, like if I was coming up now with an alt, would I have Anakin at Relic 7? Would I have GK at Relic 8? Would I have GG at Relic 7? I probably wouldn't, because or 5s, because those were characters that were meta at the time. Like
Yeah.
Padme was meta, and so yeah, it made sense to do it then. Now I don't know. I'd probably you'd want to go R8 your Dark Trooper and your Trooper team before you want to do a Padme team.
Probably, yeah. And
So
it's a funny one. Like I never did the Relic 7 on 5s. And I never did Relic 7 on Grievous, because the two things that I noticed once I got a Relic Grievous, because he was the last Sept droid I got. Just the way it developed, it was strange, but man, my Malevolence was able to take down Relic 7 negotiators when it was like Relic 1. So I was like, okay, so I took it up to Relic
Okay.
5 and I just left it there. And I'm pretty consistent. Like, it doesn't matter if
yeah,
it's the Ahsoka start, I'm just consistent.
and he's nowhere near as scary as on defense on the ground squads he used to be either, right? Like,
Yeah.
he used to go up against the Relic 7 Grievous. It was like, oh, you got taken Jedi Knight Revan and the full Jedi, and let's hang
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Try.
yeah. And you're like, we got to make sure that we can get him down quickly, blah, blah, blah. I got to drop B2 immediately, then, blah, do the whole thing. And now it's like, okay, there's a Grievous team here. We'll figure out what we're going to use on that in a minute. Let's go, open up the back and see, open up the bottom, see what's in the back kind of thing. And then you're like, okay, well, I've got like these 3 options on Grievous, or 4 options. Let's use one of those. Which one do I want to use somewhere else? I don't...
The Mon Mothma counter has failed me so far. I know Zareth made it look easy, so I'm gonna try it again. I have faith that it can work, because 3s I use it religiously. It's amazing in 3s, so I just think I
and you
gotta
use
get the
K2 and Cassian in 3s?
K2 and Cassian in 3s. Yeah,
Yeah.
and K2 and Cassian in, or not K2 and Cassian. It's what is the 5 comp? It's Scout, Kara, K2, and who am I missing? Maybe it is Cassian. I think it is Cassian.
I was thinking it's Cassian for the heal
Yeah.
immunity. I think that would be a big
Yeah.
one in getting Grievous down.
Yeah, 2 tanks, 1 attacker, and then yeah, Cassian is the other one. So
Because I kept trying to figure out, because I have a pretty good Mothma team. I've because I was going to have all these characters that can be used with it. I was like, all right, we're gonna invest in it. So I got Kara up to Relic. Hoth Rebel Scout's been at Relic for a long time. I keep my Hoth Rebel Scout at like 313 or something like that, just to catch people out, and it does. It's one of the most pleasurable things ever, is seeing a drop battle on your Mothma. You're like, ha 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 ha. Check those mods. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I've got him with 102% crit chance as well. So he'll open up with his special, and if he crits on his special, then he gets another turn. Yeah, and so then you get he immediately goes again, does his basic, and starts pumping turn meter around the team. So it's like I keep Kara fast, so she's supposed to go second, and then she throws her grenade, pulls their turn meter, and then we start rolling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the team is good. It's like Kara is like, I find that I got to mod a couple different ways. If I plan on using the BAM Grievous counter, I'll mod her like 275 speed with damage.
Yeah.
But then if I plan on putting BAM on defense for a week, then I'll like remod her for speed and just enough speed, like 310, just so she can get out in front of the newts. And then we're gonna try this time and see how it goes. Yeah. So I want some redemption.
Yeah. So you're gonna do BAM on Grievous this week, or is that your plan?
Nope. No. Bam's gonna be on defense with Bo-Katan, and then I'm gonna be trying them on Mothmas on defense or on offense against GGs.
It's like best of luck on the Mon Mothma one, because I got to be honest, I think that is the best use of Mon Mothma, absolutely by far. So I keep looking at it, going like, well, now when can I get Cassian and K2 up to relics? Like, when can I fit this in? Because I don't have a mature account, so I'm missing a lot of those really, like, not key, but ones you want for your pivots. Like, Shore Trooper, I don't have him at Relic. I don't have him even at G12. Same with L337. I need those pre-taunts. Stuff like that, where I'm just like, man, I really wish I could work on that right now. And then I'm like, I gotta get Cassian and K2. But because of now they've moved the fleets back, I'm not even super worried about getting them right away, because now I'm like, okay, now I've got 500,000 GP before I'm gonna need my rebels to be top again, so I don't need to work on them to get them up to Relic for till then, right?
I think I did. I fit them right in between two GLs. Like, I think I did my troopers and my Mon Mothma team between, what was it, Jedi Master Luke and Sith Eternal Emperor. Like, and then it was, like, that's what I've always done. I've always built up a GL, and then I'll work on 2 teams, do the next one, 2 teams, 3 teams, whatever time permits. And like, so now I think all I have left really that my in between, or after this GL, in between whatever we can speculate on is going to be the next one. It's going to be Bad Batch and Mandalorians for me.
Yeah. So that's sort of where I'm at. I've always done it the same way. Like, I'll do a GL, and then I do like 1 or 2 teams, and then I do a GL, and then 1 or 2 teams, and so it's kind of interesting. Like, after JML, I always wanted good bounty hunters, and I got them up, got them modded, got them ready to kill Darth Revens, and that was a fun little ad. And it's really funny, because in GAC, like, where I'm at, I know it doesn't fly later, but where I'm at, man, setting that Django lead on defense, that handcuffs people so bad, because he's coming out like 350 speed or something. You got your boss going at like 345, something like that, 350, and your grease coming right after it. And you're just like, okay, like, and then you see people using like Jedi Revens and Darth Revan. Darth Revan is the most common spend right there for me, which is really funny, because they lose somebody every time. Like, it's
that's a definite punch up for bounty hunters to take out Darth Revan.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's one of the things I'm noticing in my accounts, in the people that I go against. They either their troopers aren't developed enough, or they aren't fast enough to get in front of them, and then it's just like, okay, we're using a Revan here. Which one? Yeah. And so that's a fun one to find, and I understand that's very situational because of where I'm at in the GPs and stuff, but. Man, it's just interesting seeing that team on defense do so well. It's like, okay, they took their Darth Revan there. They got 52. I'm good with that.
Yeah, and they hit so hard. It's a good team. I love my bounty hunter team too. I don't have them as fast as yours, nowhere near as fast as yours, but they get the job done for what I need them to do. One of the big things that my guild pushed as soon as I got in was get Moff Gideon up to over 365 speeds. Now that has been clutch. So you put down your bounty hunter team against me, it's
going,
Trooper
yeah.
60.
I,
So
I did just move up Moff Gideon today before lock-in, so I didn't have him very fast because, like I said, Troopers is one of the last teams I actually developed. So I just got C fairly recently, and then after Sith Eternal, I got Moff Gideon to Relic and Range, and then I did Biston and SRP and Kara to get my Mothma up, and then now then it was picking up a couple of spare parts like armor and stuff like that, but. So my Gideon always got like hand-me-down mods, and so I've been working on my mods I'm sure everybody does, or everybody that trying to be competitive does. Like daily, spending the crystals, doing the slicing, going through. So I had a bunch of good ones just kind of sitting there, and I wanted to adjust something to one of the teams that I've already developed, and that involved me taking some faster mods off of somebody else for a little bit different mod profile. And so all of a sudden I had a bunch of really fast mods, and I'm like, oh, come here, Gideon. Yeah. So I put him up to 340, not crazy, but so where I'm at, it's pretty good. We don't have a heavy compliance on troopers at the moment, so I haven't been like asked to make him any certain speed at the moment, but that could change at a moment's notice. So I might need to make him faster, which is fine. I'll just do some swap out mods and get him up. But there's a couple of places I can steal some speed, I think, where it wouldn't be a problem. But at this way, I was just like, wow, just like with stuff that I wasn't going to use anywhere else. Cool.
So what are your thoughts on the new player experience where someone just coming into the game, it's your dark side team is going to be like Vader, Moff Gideon, Dark Trooper, XY?
I think specifically, and this is something that I think CG is doing very cleverly. I think they're doing it really well. And I expect Bad Batch to be hyper accessible. Like I'm expecting them in one or two in maybe the fleet battles. I'm expecting them in Cantina and in like some low energy farms. I'm expecting them to be easy to get. And the reason I'm expecting that is because where Disney's putting the emphasis on Star Wars right now in the the extended universe, right? Getting Mandalorian characters like Moff Gideon and Dark Trooper and stuff. People starting to play the game right now. They want those characters. That's where they want. They want Beskar Mando. They want Dark Trooper and stuff. They're not going to be like Phoenix and then Bastila. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. Separatists. I mean, they're great. I mean, they'll get you Padme and stuff like that, and that's a great way to start. That's where I would recommend somebody started, a couple of months ago. But right now, I think when you see somebody who is a newer player told me about some packs for Beskar Mando where you're getting like, it was really cheap and you get like 50 shards a pack for each character. And I was like,
yeah, they're giving those guys away for
damn. Yeah, so and they're super easy to gear to get. So I'm thinking what they're trying to do is they're trying to shift it so the first legendary you go for is going to be Beskar Mando. And I'm thinking Imperial Remnants with Gideon being on the Cantina and Dark Trooper being a low energy farm, right? Mm-hmm. I think that Imperial Remnant team is going to be your early game dark side team. And then I think Bad Batch is going to be one of those teams. Very, very powerful for how easy they are to get, and something a new player can get and box with some older players. Because just looking at Bad Batch, I mean, you can tell me what you think about this, but I'm thinking Bad Batch looked like an A tier team, maybe even S tier. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of testing. We're going to do some in the arena this week and see how it goes, but I mean, they look incredible.
I think they look incredible as well too. It's just like, so what is your take on who the fifth character is? Is it situational to who you're fighting, or do you have a favorite? Like, who do you put on that team?
It's a tough one because you can make and here's the weird one. You can kind of make a case for almost any other clone. Like I would love to. I mean, hell, fucking R2D2 would be great there, really great there. With the stat sharing and stuff. I mean, Cody with his group hug, that's a great one too.
Yeah, that's who I want. That's who I want to be the go-to. I love my Cody. I got a Zeta Relic Cody that I can't use
anywhere. Yeah.
Anywhere. So
what? I don't think that's a bad shout. Cody was the one that I called out before, like once I saw like Tech and Wrecker, I was like, Cody might be great here because it gives that group hug. I think that would be excellent with how they're operating. With Echo, it makes even more sense, right? Because now the group hug's going to heal your team for, heal somebody on your team and Echo for like 16%. Like that's
there's
ridiculous.
so much that happens with that
like
assist.
8 and 8.
There's so much that happens because everybody's got stuff going off on their basics. And
Exactly.
It's all buffs and debuffs, and so you're healing everybody. And then if you even get 5 crits, then it's up again, right?
Exactly. And it's one of those where like Cody makes a lot of sense to me. He's probably the one I like the most. You could argue Clone Sarge for the TM feed. That would be a nice one too. I mean, there's already a TM swap function in the teams, so having a little bit extra TM gain's not a bad idea. So it's one of those people, if somebody has their relic Clone Sarge from fleets, I mean, throw them in there. That'll work if they don't have relic Cody. You've got the relic Cody. That's honestly Cody's how I would go, but Sarge makes sense too.
Looks really good. Barris looks
yeah.
really good if you want to take certain teams. Like I can't remember which ones, but Barris looks really good if you have the Jedi depth that you could spare her from a different team.
So what's funny is I was just thinking about it, and C-3PO would be great there too. Like the droids, the GR droids would be absolutely fantastic. I have a feeling that Bad Batch will be able to take out Darth Revan's, depending on speeds and everything like that. Just because of the amount of recovery and the fact that you can proc Wrecker's taunt off of Wrecker. So if you get like super, I don't know who's got the highest base speed, and I don't know if they're the ones kicking out the stealth. So that absolutely would dictate that. But just looking at their kits, I'm like, there's so much going on here. Like,
Echo he's tied for 5th fastest base speed in the game.
Oh, nice. I haven't looked any of that stuff up yet, just because I haven't worked on any of them. But yeah, so
he's the exact same speed as Moff Gideon.
Oh wow, yeah, that's going to be ridiculous. Man.
Yeah, so then Tech is quick too, but he's not as quick. I think Tech is the one he's the one that stealths everybody. But he starts in stealth, so you're going to be able to 1-2 punch. You're going to be able to daze everybody with Echo right off the bat, and then stun them all. In move 2. So
yeah, the stun won't help with the Darth Revans, but man, that'll rip Grievous up. I think you get the daze out there, so there's none of the assisting. And no TM gain to B2, and then you get the stun out, and they're locked up, and you can go and pop somebody, and with Cody do the group hug, bang, there you go, take out their magnet to get started.
We did a bunch of testing. I don't know, I gotta be careful how I say this, but we put a certain GG comp down that got bad batched, and it didn't go so well. So be mindful.
Yeah, no, I think I know which comp you're talking about. Just gonna throw it out there, but it was a very legal blockade.
Nope. No, it was a marble comp.
Oh, okay.
So, well, I guess we might as well say the BB-8 comp shuts down the Bad Batch. So
that's not totally surprising, but it's a weird one because if you're stopping the Bad Batch there, you open yourself up to a really easy Night Sister battle.
Night Sisters.
Yeah,
yes,
so and then you're taking BB-8 away from your JTR, which if you're sending your Res Bros with Rey, then all of a sudden you're like, your JTR is looking pretty light.
Absolutely.
So you're setting JTR with your Rey then as well, because you just don't have a JTR team anymore.
I was really hoping that the Bad Batch was going to be like a rock solid hard counter to CLS, just with their I think it was if they're kind of the same stuff as GG, where if they're target locked or something prevented counters, right?
Yeah.
But Han, unfortunately, if he stuns, and he's he's going to stun Echo or Tech more often than not. If he stuns one of them, then it stops. The counter's dead.
Yeah.
So
that would be because one of those ones, like you said, you get the daze out and then you get the stun out. So I could see that going wrong. Like I keep my Han super fast, so they would have to have a pretty fast. I would probably stun Echo because he's fastest, and then try to kill Tech afterwards, because I think I keep my Han at like, I don't know, 290, something like that.
That seems to be where people want him nowadays, which is to me is insane, because like I remember the days of 225 offense arrow.
Yeah.
Hard. Now it's a race.
I'm not gonna lie.
But
I definitely feel like Han's worth a relic 8 as well, for sure. Like a because it's one of those where it's gonna add what 600-700 damage to him and increases crit damage as well by 4.5%. I mean that's just ridiculous on a guy that hits that hard with the double taps. So I'm thinking he's a pretty damn good relic 8 candidate. Uh,
I would agree. And then plus what he does to the ship, he's going to do pay dividends with the Millennium Falcon as well.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
I agree.
it's like that whole CLS team to me. I mean, could be all relic 8, and it wouldn't be an overspend in my opinion. They're just so good. It's like they're.
And how are you doing with relic 8s?
I've got
do you have
four,
right now?
but I'm still working on GLs and stuff, so I'm kind of gated on that. I have the mats from the Crank or whatever to do 3 more. I just don't have the G12 plus stuff to do it, especially like as I'm trying to catch up essentially still, trying to get there.
I feel your pain on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got like over 100 of the Crankcore mats, but I got nothing left of the to salvage. Like I
mean,
can't. I know it takes a week to farm up all the mats you need to, but that's a week, right? Like
Yeah.
you can gear 13 a character in a week. So
Yeah, I mean, sometimes depending on what pieces they need and how the drops are, you can sometimes get 2 in a week, and so it's just like, it's really bizarre. Like that, it's not actually bizarre, but it's ridiculous that it's 186 G12 plus mats and only specific ones. Like that's the weirdest one. So the ones that I've got like 300 of, not those ones, of course.
no, of course not. No.
Why not?
Is
Why?
is it the sunglasses? Those ones?
Oh god, it's
Or
yeah,
the
sunglasses
like
are
the
one of
globe
those.
thing?
Yeah, the globe
like
thing
a-
I've got like 275. The sunglasses one or something I got like, I don't know, 400 or something like that. Like I keep getting it in Sith raids and stuff too, and I'm like, come on, like just anything but that. Like give me the ones that I don't have. And then there's a lot of those G12 plus pieces you just can't salvage for anything, and it's just like, well, those just keep building up, and they're not the ones that all the characters want. They want you to salvage the ones that all the characters want. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
come
Of
on.
course.
I mean, it'd be one of those if they just gave us a solid and just expanded it to all G12 plus pieces. Like, why can't we use the ones that are not usable and everywhere? Because eventually we're going to run out, and then all of a sudden you're creating a demand for a piece, some mats that you can't sell. Now it becomes saleable again. Like I don't know, it's a little bit weird, but they tried to tell us it was space. Like we can't have all the G12 plus pieces there because it's a space issue. No, it's not. It's just you guys are dicks.
No.
Like you want us to have 500 of one piece and 0 of another one.
Well, they know what they're doing. They want us, when you see the bayonets and the multi-tools in the store for crystals, they want you to refresh, buy some crystals, and buy them because it's like crack, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone wants all the R8s right now, especially if you're doing pit raid. So
Yeah, I'm actually not that crazy about Relic 8s. I don't think they're game changers. I did Kenobi because the speed is a big deal on that one, and I did Slacker and I did JML and Gas. Gas was my first, and that was one of those like I'm killing GLs with this guy, so let's make him hit like an absolute falling safe. So like let's get him the extra 600-700 damage right there. And then I did my second one was GK because I started seeing one in my arena, like my fleet arena. So I was like, okay, if he's got a Relic 8, I'm the most developed account in this damn shard. I'm getting a Relic 8.
yeah, the GK Relic 8 is pretty much mandatory. I think you have
Yeah.
to just because there's the way the ship meta is. It's almost required.
Yeah, yeah.
I did Jedi Knight Luke, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot of benefit, in my opinion, from that one.
Yeah.
But like Ray, I understand. Our 8 Ray is beneficial because then that makes the C counter harder. If you can get a high offense Ray, it can actually kill C. Obviously, that's what happened to me in the last round of GSC.
How you modded your C?
High health and speed, so but not like I think it was. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but it should have been high enough health to get me through, but obviously it wasn't. So.
Yeah, I've got my C at 175,000 health and like 120 speed or something like that, plus 120, and then I think damage-wise about 12,000 or something like that.
I think I got a good mix. Let me just look here. And mine's, yeah, my C's only Relic 7 as well right now. It's
Same,
140,000 health, 520 speed, 8,500 physical, and 12,6 special damage. So kind of a good mix of speed and offense. And, I haven't had it. It's for most rays, it's great. It's fine, right? It's just, yeah, that R8 ray. That's where the appeal is to R8 hers, just to make it a little bit harder.
Well, it's funny because I've got there's only one real Ray only account in my shard, and he climbs with like I think it's a 12 or 13,000 offense Ray. Like it's pretty nuts. Like it's as high as offense Ray you can actually conceivably get without it being Relic 8. 'Cause it's still Relic 7, but it's just insane speed. Offense. And so I practiced my C against that, and so I'm like, okay, nope, he killed me. Okay. Let's go again with some more health. And then I got to about 170. So yeah, now I'm at 174 on health, and I'm just like, I just bounce Ray off. It's no big deal. It's like, yeah, no big deal.
That's a lot of health.
Yeah. And so that's how I set that one up. I was just practicing a new Ray counter with C today, just trying something out. And I wasn't using armor or Watt. And that Ray couldn't kill me. Just couldn't kill me.
Huh.
And
That's impressive.
Yeah, and it was a weird one because he had JTR in there as well. So I kept expecting a heal immunity to hit, and then I'd be screwed. Because generally the counter works really, really well in keeping everything kind of stalled out a little bit. And then you can kind of get Ray down before that second ult, because she'll usually get the first ult before you can kill her, before you can throw spaghetti in her face, and go from there. And it was a bad one. Like, it was the first time trying that comp against his comp, because I'd tried it somewhere else before and it worked really, really well. And so he puts like Kenobi in there and JTR, and so there's those reactive taunts coming in. And then he's got Ray and the Res Bros. His Res Bros are pretty fast, like not crazy because his account's like pretty limited on his mod depth, but like 340 on his fin or something like that. So like fast, but not
decent.
Yeah, not insane.
That's good.
And so it's like I have, I was like looking at the mods. I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna give this a shot. And I was still figuring out the counter. So the first time I went up against him, he managed to kill my entire team and take it down to just C. And at that time, it was like C versus 4. Like I think I'd only killed like RH Finn or something like that. And then I was trying to get around to the second spaghetti throw, and she ulted, and I'm like, well, here I go. Ult, bounced it. I was like, ah, ha, 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 ha. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. And I was like, yeah, this modding holds up.
Good.
Yeah. So, but I did have to take off my crit damage arrow to get that extra health on there. But I don't know. It's been paying off because those solos just haven't been scary. Like that's one of the ones where I was running against Padme, and I think the first time I tried it, it was a little bit hazy when I was about 145,000 health or something. Like they kept hitting the stick in the heal immunity, and I was like, oh shit, this is going bad. And then gave him the old Spider-Man, and then we were good.
Yeah, that's another counter that I know people say, I've seen it done where you solo Padme team, but yeah, I don't know. I more often than not nowadays I bring in my GBA with C, which is just it makes everything easier.
Well, I can tell you this right now. If you go higher on the health, it doesn't matter how that Padme team is modded. They could all be Relic 8. It doesn't matter. So I tried it against a Relic 8 Anakin that had like 110% potency and great damage and all that stuff, and I just went in there with a cold solo, and you link Anakin, you link Ahsoka, it's over.
I don't want to give up my health or my offense triangle though, but I guess I'm gonna have to.
I'm telling you, man, it's if you ever want to get solos out of your C, just load them up with that health, man.
Yeah, I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, yeah, it's one that I definitely recommend, because I tried a bunch of stuff, because when I got C, I didn't know what the hell to do with them. Like it was the one GL where I'm like, now what? Like every GAC, I'm like, I mean, I think C can solo this. We'll give it a shot.
I saw this week. I saw a C Nest, just C and just Nest solos a full R7 CLS team.
Oh yeah,
it was a thing of beauty.
Well,
That's the
yes.
first time I'd seen it, and I was just like, okay, let's hit auto, and it was a magical thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other one that works really well there is see crew. Like, crew keeps healing. Can bounce off that damage, so you can get started essentially. And then once you get started though with CLS team, they're gonna be taking all those turns. Yeah, whatever.
But you'll lose crew to that team still though, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you won't lose Nest on a CLS team. So
That's yeah. It's. I was just thinking, I'm like, because mine's Relic 4. I'm like, I wonder if that would work, because that would be brilliant, because I don't actually have anything to use my nest with. Maybe next GIC, if I run up against a CLS and I don't have a planned stand, I'll run that one.
no, your R4 will be just fine as
Yeah.
long as
It's
slow, because there is
yeah,
if it's
slow
if it's
tenacity
fast,
and yeah.
oh, then you're good. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's the slim chance that if she's a fast Nest that will get a turn, and Han can whack
Pop
her,
her,
so
yeah.
you can lose. But if she's a slow Nest, then you're good. It's a full banner win.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely something I'll try next time. I don't really have a plan for it, or just to see it, because I got to tell you, my opponent this round. Oh my God, the poor man. I don't know how the hell we got matched up. Like, he has one Galactic Legend, he does not have JKL, and I'm just like, really? How did we get matched? Like, and then I went and looked at his mods, and I outmod him like everywhere. Like, oh boy, this is gonna be brutal.
He just must be a top loader, right? Just a little bit of
Yeah.
a money spender. Just like
Lots of
that's
Relic
how
7s,
those.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
He's got quite a few Zetas on me. I think he's got about 30 Zetas on me, which also does the trick. So because I have like 102 Zetas, and I keep getting matched against guys with like 125, 130, that kind of thing. Which can get a little bit interesting. Every now and then you catch somebody with like similar amount of G13s, and you're just like, oh well, here we go. This could be interesting. Yeah.
This last week I went up against a guy that had 1160 mods
Oof.
or 6 mods, 1100 relic levels, 80 R7s and 20 R8s.
Oof.
What else? It was
20
the amount of
R8s,
money.
holy crap.
The amount of money that he put into that account was just insane. But he only had 60 Zetas, and his average speed on his top 80. You see that stats in the hotbar comparisons. I think it was like 54.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That
So-
guy has spent what a high end, like he spent a Maserati on the game, something like that.
Yeah, easily six figures. But like it was weird. He had like bounty hunters down on defense, but none of his bounty hunters had Zetas. He had the BAM team, but 0 Zetas. It was weird. I think he had Jedi Master Luke, but with 1 Zeta.
Oh my god.
It was a fun fight because these are all. Oh, they're all R7s, and they're all 6E modded, even though their 6E mods suck. But still, it was fun.
You know what the crazy thing?
He cleared me still.
That's kind of impressive. So he's probably just like working on the mods as they goes, kind of thing. I was just thinking about it, like thinking about how crazy it would be. That guy's gonna have to delete some of his 6E mods to make room for new mods, and these are mods that he spent real life money getting as quickly as he's got them. I'm having 1100 with 60 Zetas. I mean, Jesus, I haven't bought any with crystals, and I've only got like I've got like 270 6E mods or something like that. And I'm just thinking about it right now, and I'm like, yeah, I've been playing for like less than 3 years, so he's bought like 800 6E mods, and and probably 200 of them at 300 of them probably are so bad he's gonna end up deleting them probably soon. Like, ugh, that's gotta hurt.
I'll tell you though, his ships were killer. Like all
I
60
don't doubt
mod
it.
pilots.
I don't
all
doubt it.
R7.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's probably how he wins
But-
GACs right there. His ships.
Well, if he wouldn't have lost on my fleet, I think it would have been close.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it, but he did. So I don't know that Tarkin fleet's still pulling dividends for me.
Yeah, what's your starting lineup on that one?
It's Vader, Bomber, and TIE Fighter pilot, but my TIE Fighter pilots are 5.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking about that. That was one of those ones where I was like, man, I I really want a relic TIE fighter pilot. Like that
Well,
would just be such a dynamic ship.
plus, like, so he helps in the negotiator mirror matches, right? Because he's
Exactly. Yeah.
fastest. So yeah, you get your foresight up, and then it gets procced, and then you go first. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the stopping the Ahsoka in the mirror thing. It's like you hit Ahsoka, so she cleanses, gets her counterattacks, and you do your big hit at Ahsoka, and she counters onto your foresight. Bam, you go first.
yep.
It's a beautiful thing. It's like I quite like that one. I haven't tried that in my arena yet because it's one of those ones where I like to leave the Ahsoka one in my arena, just because the like malevolences and stuff just kind of don't really know what to do against it, which is strange because I literally just, like one of them asked it, a couple of people had asked me, so I actually made a video on it specifically, like how to consistently beat that team, and they're still not bumping me. So I'm like, all right, well, if I teach them how to do it with their negotiator, then maybe they will. Like,
Yeah, no, that's odd because like there's 0 Ahsoka comps on my fleet chart. It's all Y-wing, Anakin, and Houndstooth, just across the board. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's still a lot of people running the 5s comp. I don't know why. I don't know why they leave it on defense, but
yeah, that fives comp gets just tossed around like Justin Bieber in a prison shower, man. Because it's just like you can go in there and no reinforce that with your malevolence, and it's just like a totally ridiculously easy fight. There is a little bit more variance now. That the malevolence nerf was kind of rough.
it was. It was, but it's still like now I'm getting used to it, and it doesn't seem to be like I'm not losing a whole lot of battles. Every once in a while, you'll like not land buzz droids on Anakin, and which screws you over. But for the most part, malevolence still works.
Yeah, it's. I think it's because I'm just so practiced with that counter, but I'm able to recover a lot. Like I haven't lost since it happened. Oh, now I'm going to. Now that I fucking said that, Jesus. But like since the nerf happened, I hadn't dropped a battle. And the guy who takes one before me every day for the last year, he's been leaving the Ahsoka start. Like I even asked him like, hey man, could you not do that so I can just leave my normal malevolence in? I don't have to switch it out. Like you can totally beat the team in front of you with buttons. It doesn't, it's not a big deal. And he did for like, I don't know, a week or two, and then went back to it. I'm like, all right, well, like if that's what it was, like, you're only comfortable with that, okay. But yeah, so I'm super practiced at that counter. So when the nerf happened and there was little things, I'm like, now you die, Anakin. Whoa, where are my assists? Like that kind of thing. That can get a little bit dodgy. Like I've had it now a couple of times where Anakin didn't die, and then Bloody Plo comes out, and you're just like, oh my god, here we go. And I keep expecting to lose, but I keep figuring out. I'm like, no, we're gonna do this. All right, no, we're good now. We got Anakin down. We're good. Hell,
Yeah, it's weird that they just fixed that bug out of nowhere, where it persisted now for 2 years, and all of a sudden they decide to fix it.
We both know why. They didn't fix it because it was pretty much a hard counter to negotiator. Didn't matter what comp you set. Yeah. And then now they're going to want people to have their Razor Crest, and Malevolence, in my opinion, without the fix, would beat the pants off the Razor Crest, just no problem. So there you go. They fix it. Now the Razor Crest is more valuable, and it's going to be probably on offense, I suspect the Razor Crest will beat everything. I'm guessing.
I hope so, because we need a shake-up in the fleet meta. Like, this is getting ridiculous how long this has gone on. Like, they have to do something. It's becoming a joke at this point how long it's been Malevolence and Negotiator.
Yeah, because the Negotiator's been out just as long as, longer than Cam even. So we're at, 19 months, 20 months Negotiator's been out? So that was the first one that dropped?
Yeah, because it was Darkside TV, right?
Yeah.
Darkside TV, yeah.
Yeah, and man, I mean, God, that's even more. 22 months, maybe, almost 2 years.
Could be.
Because I remember having the Negotiator for a long time. It's a strange one because, they want people to develop their ships, and then they make the fleets metas like super stale. And this one's remarkably annoying because switching between fleets is tedious. You have to go and like switch the cap ship. Yeah. And then you got to go you clear the ships, and then you go and set your ships, and then you go, and it's like, if I'm doing something and I need to get a fleet arena battle in. I don't want to have to go through all that rigmarole just to get the fleet going. I just, I've got a couple of minutes. Like, just let me get at it.
Wow, and they need to switch it up too for the people that are like die hard with fleets, because now it's like you used to be able to stay in the top, what, 15. Now you can fall into the 50s easily just because so much time has passed. Everyone has everything.
Yeah.
Depending on how the jumps go, right?
Well, that's the thing. At this point, everybody should have both of them at 7 stars, both of them. And if they don't, then that's either you're a newer player or your guild might have outgrown it, kind of thing. Like you need to kind of move and get those fleets. I'm surprised when I see somebody, like, I've been matched up with a couple people that had a 5-star of one of those. I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're gonna get a hard fleet defense. That kind of thing. It's a little bit strange. I guess it just plays into how they gate stuff and stuff. How people. I mean, that's another one. Sometimes people just spend their get to in different ways. They're like, well, I want a G13 stuff, so I didn't bother. Yep. And
are you a hoarder of get to and get one?
Yeah.
You spend it all as it comes in. You hoard it?
Yeah, I've got like 100,000 get to, and I've got about 65,000 get one. Get one gets spent a lot more than get to, just because I'm always working on G13ing stuff, and there's weird gear pieces that you just get stuck on, man. Like those, like the Mark IV. I don't know. They look like a dog tag or something like that.
Yeah, no, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, like I started working on Ray, and freaking Resistance Pilot needs like 4 of those. Come on, man. Like I had like 47 when I started on him, and now I'm like, oh, I need another one. This one, great. This is gonna take forever, like, because they don't sell them in the crystal stores. It's not even like I use my daily crystals to get it, or at least maybe they do, and I just bought them all out this week or something like that, which is likely considering how annoying that piece is. So I'm like using energy to farm it because I'm like, I got nothing, and then when I see it in the Get One store, I'm like, buy.
Yeah, I got no Get One left. I think I got like 100 right now. I spent it all. It's all gone.
I always kind of wanted to keep it. I don't actually think they're going to put new characters in Get One. I think they're done with that. But I do expect new characters in Get Two. That's for sure. I don't think those two cap ships are going to be the end of it. I would almost expect, if they did say bring in Hondo and his cap ship to run with the bounty hunters, which would be kind of amazing. I would expect that ship to, you get it through something, and then you finish it off with your get to or whatever. So they'll get people to clear out like 50,000 get to right off the bat.
That's probably what it's going to be. They'll probably do the next epic confrontation is a cap ship for the bounty hunters or something like that, right? Like Malik and Gas, and it'll require get to, and everyone will be scrambling. As me too, because I think I only got like 5,000 get to, and I spend it all on Cairo decks. So
yeah, sorry, go.
What do you think? Like, you saw the road ahead, the last line.
Yeah.
Expect a shipload to see. Are you expecting them to fill out the rest of the capital ships? Do you think we're going to get a bounty hunter capital ship? What is your theory on what that meant, or if it meant nothing? I
do think that, and it's a weird one. Like, I don't expect them to pump out another, more ships for like Mace and or Thrawn Tarkin. Like, you're going to pick one of those. I don't expect they're going to kick out more ships for those. But I do think that there's room for a Sith fleet that wouldn't take a lot of development. We could get a Sith cap ship. That's something I particularly want. I think Nihilus's cap ship would be the way to go, because he's one of those characters that a lot of new characters a lot of new players aren't focusing on. So requiring him for like a cool Sith fleet would appeal to people that are getting into the multiple fleet things. And yeah, I do think there's very much room for a bounty hunter cap ship. And with that though, Resistance still needs 2 more ships, like,
yes,
at least, and one of them has to be a pretty solid tank. And
it could just be the bomber. We know. Just give us the bomber from episode 8.
Exactly. Give us the dumb bomber. Give us the dumb bomber, the one that looks like like a weird chubby B-wing. Give us that thing. And then First Order need a bomber. Obviously, you can make one of those pretty easy. There was a couple in the films, if I remember right. Just throw that out there.
Really easy to make.
And here's the weird thing. This is something that actually could be an interesting thing to talk about. Like, what are we gonna do with these pilotless ships as more relic levels come into the game? Because they're not gonna be adjusted to that.
I don't know. I think an easy fix would be have it scaled to the relic level of the capital ship.
Yeah,
Just
that would
just
be
do
awesome. That would be a great
Right,
fix.
it's easy enough to do. Everyone's got GG or relic 7, so if you want your
I don't.
summon fleets or if you want your associated non-pilot ships, just link them to the capital ship's relic level and call it a day. That way, if you want, you can.
That would actually be pretty solid if that was just like an update where it's like, okay, now all pilotless ships will scale to your cap ship's gear levels. I think that would be great, especially if it took their mods into account, because then that would allow you to gain bonuses from 16 mods on those characters as well, besides just speed to the cap ship and stuff like that. So I mean that's a great fix. It's a quick, easy fix too, if they can get that to work.
That shouldn't require a whole lot of programming to do.
Yeah. I think that's a really solid one. But yeah, first order need a tank. Honestly, if they could get a clone Sarge with a first order tag, that is brilliant. Like right there, just give him like one cleanse, even a cleanse on reinforcement or something. So if you don't start him, you can bring a cleanse or a single target cleanse or something in his kit. Or maybe he cleanses somebody on basic, sort of like the hyena. Like that would be freaking great.
Yeah, we definitely need a cleanse because Daze just shuts down that fleet, right?
Yeah. That Daze just absolutely just bends it over. It's brutal. And then that would really allow us to have 6-7 really good fleets. Because I mean, Mace's kit's not bad or anything, but it's just not good compared to everything else. And I mean, you can do good stuff with it. I'm not trying to bag on it that way, but like it's. If you took all your best ships for Galactic Republic, sure, you can do some great stuff with it before you get the Negotiator, but the Negotiator is just far superior. And it's
absolutely, hands down, yeah.
And it's a weird one, but it's like Thrawn's a great ship and everything, but I prefer Tarkin. I think Tarkin with the Empire is it's gnarly. Like
I do too.
It can really run you over really quickly, and his ult, you get to his ult really fast, and
which is sad because Thrawn is the legendary ship, right?
Yeah.
And here we are using Tarkin, but.
Yeah, like I was happy to relic Tarkin on the path to sea. It's one of those because I've never developed my Thrawn cap ship. I just never. It was out of the meta by the time I got it. Like when I joined, it was all about Millennium Falcon when I started playing. So Akbar and whatnot. And then when I got Thrawn finally, he's just been at level 1. The Chimera's been at level 1, gear 1 for ever. I haven't done a thing to it. And I keep looking at these bounty hunter fleets because now I have almost enough mats to do to like level them up if I wanted to. I've got the credits and stuff, and I'm keep looking at it. I'm like, I just think they're gonna drop a bounty hunter cap ship, so why would I spend it here?
Yeah, they gotta. I think it's coming. Which I'm gonna enjoy that, but pulling Houndstooth, like having Houndstooth to a dedicated fleet, is going to be a little bit depressing.
I'll be super happy with that because just having him floating around, it's difficult to plan for. Actually, when I'm like looking at some of his history and I'm like, okay, I use Houndstooth in like 3 different places.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know where it's going to be. So we got to plan that possibly it will be this or this, and like when it comes to matchups, because he doesn't shut down any fleets by any means, but he's just an impediment.
Mm-hmm. And I think, like, you remember way back when we had all those in Star Wars or SWGOH.GG, they used to have, I don't know if it's still there, but you could go into the data mined character models, and they used to have a whole bunch of other ships. Like they had Aura Singh's ship, and they had all these other bounty hunter ships. Like they were building the models for these ships. They could drop them at any time.
I haven't seen that, but that sounds awesome.
Oh, they used to have so many data mine characters in there, but then all of a sudden they took it away. I don't know why. It was kind of fun to go look at sometimes.
I bet you CG asked them to. I'm willing to bet.
Possibly.
I'm willing to bet that they're like they asked them to take it down. They're like, hey, you use our info and all this stuff, but could you take this down because, and whatever. And then if they said no, then they would have just been like, all right, we can get an injunction to have you take it down then because that's our IP. you know, and so they're like, fine, we'll take it down. You know, like that kind of thing. So I'd see that happening. But that's really cool because one of the things that I brought up a couple of times when we were talking about Razor Crest is, you know, Newt Gunray was supposed to get a cap ship. And that was one of those data mine things. And I would think he would have Scoundrel and Cargo because he was the trade association. I would imagine they would have Cargo Ship, Bounty Hunter, Scoundrel synergies. And that would make perfect sense. Like, you can do light separatist synergies, but you could just make it like, boom, yeah. If you're a Scoundrel, Bounty Hunter, Cargo Ship, any of those three, you've got synergy with this fleet captain.
Yep, I'll take a Newt Gunray capital ship any day as well. But you know, you got to give us Hondo. Hondo had, like, if people that watch the Clone Wars, I don't know if you remember when he did have a capital ship.
Yeah, he had the big saucer.
Yeah, the big flying saucer thing. So
it's like I would love Hondo to have that. I also wouldn't have a problem with Hondo. Here's the crazy thought with a stolen ship. Like you use Hondo, but his ship is actually going to be something stolen off of your opponent's bench, so they lose that ship and you gain it. Like, how cool would that be?
That'd be pretty good. They could do some fun stuff.
Yeah, like that would be so much fun. I know they're not going to do that, but God, that'd be so much fun. Like,
but I guess he wasn't a bounty hunter either, so he would just be Scoundrel synergies, right?
Scoundrel synergies. I would say and Cargo Ship.
Yeah.
So like, so it'd be Scoundrel pilots. So that would be a considered bounty hunter fleet though, because I don't think there is a Scoundrel tag in ships, is there?
I can't
remember.
Tag, yes, there is. Like, but then so like cargo ships, like people like Cad Bane.
Yeah,
he doesn't have
it, but they could throw that on there. I think, even though it's like a fighter for sure.
Okay. So
yeah,
Scoundrel though for sure, because the only other light side Scoundrel ships we have are Lando's Falcon and the Han's Falcon and the Razor Crest.
Yeah. So that all makes sense. Like any of that would be really cool. I definitely I like ships a lot. I really develop and try to focus on them. I mean, I'm working on getting every single ship and pilot to like 7-star right now, and then going to try to develop it like that so I can have them all available when fleets change and things. But they need to it doesn't need to be forced as quickly as the cadence on squads, because obviously the player base doesn't care as much about fleets as they do about squads. But I would like to see more change than just every 2 years we give you a ship and that ship dominates everything.
Do you think they're holding off maybe the like do you get any kind of feelers that we're going to get that ship raid that got mothballed last year?
I don't think so. That would be a great way to release Hondo and his ship. Could you imagine?
Yeah, put it as a raid reward. That'll renew interest in ships. Now people have to develop ships.
And then not only that,
they can do so much more.
Like, you make it so Hondo is like your prize, and the ship you buy straight up out of Get 2.
Yep.
That would work really, really well. And people would I mean, anybody who's watched Clone Wars and Rebels will definitely be gunning for Hondo, just like, it's Hondo, man. He's cool. Like, I mean, I'm a fan. Got Hondo
there
here.
You go.
Yeah.
Right on. Think so. Like we just got Sim on AAT. I think when they'd give us Sim on the Sith raid is when they should give us this ship raid.
Yeah.
Just to kind of spare time, right?
I hope it's soon, and I hope if they don't make it able to get full plus pieces, at least make the spends, like the G12 plus gear you're getting, make it a sizable amount. I'm hoping, like something like 20 of 1 or 2 or something like that. Like a good amount. That, because the 186 for Relic 8, I really have a problem with that. I think that's a humongous spend. And I get it, like, guys at the very, very top of the game are sitting on all this gear and they want them to spend that gear, but man, like, it's rough.
Oh, I completely agree. Like, I have to have nothing I want to do because it's like dedicated focus, spending all your energy on one node. I don't like doing it, and I know I have to do it, and I don't want to spend. Well, you know how much it costs us to buy the relic packs with
it's crazy.
Magnifier.
It's crazy expensive.
sickening. So
It's like I did 1.5 of those, and it just made me sick. I was like, okay, we're not doing that again. It's like,
hmm
and that was one of those ones where, I just was thinking about it, and I'm like, I mean, you make some revenue on the channel, and you're like, well, I'll put that in the game, and then you're looking at it, going like, well, I have this sitting here in my PayPal. Yeah, I mean, I need some Relicates. Like, there's a couple I want. All right, we'll do it. And then right afterwards, I was like, man, now I regret that. Like, I was just like, oh god, like that's so not good. That's not a
uh,
good feeling.
so I take it you didn't gamble on
Oh god, no.
the pack that was in there. I don't know if it's still in there, but I looked at it. But I was like, yeah, for whatever it was, $69. There's no way I'm gonna gamble on.
Nah, I'm not
the Air
gambling
Magnifier.
$70 on that.
Yeah.
If it was guaranteed that you get like 10 of those, the ones that are the slicing gears or something, I probably would have gambled on it. If it was like 10 to 20, I'll gamble on
hmm
that. Because getting 20 for 70 or whatever Canadian is better than whatever 120 Canadian for guaranteed, 20 or whatever. So,
hmm
that'd be one of those ones where I'm like, yeah. And then that also cuts, if I buy this one once, and that'll cut my next relegate down to what, 94 or 93 pieces or something like that. I'm like, that's a lot more doable,
hmm
like that kind of thing. So I would have done it then, but man, no way. It's like I'm strange with the spending. I usually, when I do spend, it's coming out of my PayPal, from like Twitch payouts, and it's going into crystals and or um, actually just crystals and the marquee packs, the 27 Canadian marquee packs. I buy every one of those now. Like that started with with Chupio, because I wanted Chupio so bad, that I was just like, fuck it, I want this character. CLS is my favorite team. We're gonna go out and get it. And then obviously the JML thing with Mothma, I was like, well, I've already got Chupio, so might as well just go all in on Mothma.
And that pack is a really good deal. Like I think you
I
get
think so.
1,500 crystals with it as
Yeah.
well, which so it's a no brainer. If you're a spender, it's no brainer. So
Yeah, so that's actually why I do it. Is I just kind of crunch the numbers on it. I'm like, I mean, that's almost the cost of the crystals. So I get 30 shards and 1,500 crystals for the
Mhm.
cost of what, 1,800 crystals or something. In terms of how much that monies would buy crystal wise, I'm like, yeah, it's a no brainer.
for sure.
Yeah.
So pivoting to something else, do you think that we're done with marquees for Jedi Master Luke, or do you think they're going to sneak one in on us?
So last time, with Sith Eternal, I was saying up and down they needed to have a Mon Mothma like marquee for the unsung Sith, right? That gives some sort of bonuses to those guys to make them more usable and such. And I swore it up and down, but they didn't. And I'll tell you what, Sith Eternal was the easiest Galactic Legend I've ever got of the three that I've got. Like, it was by far the fastest. It went so smooth. I literally thought it was going to take me a month longer than it did. I was kind of blown away at how quickly I got them. With that in mind, I do think that they will fit in another marquee. The reason I think so is because the light side Galactic Legends are always more difficult to get than the dark side.
Oh.
So if they were going to skimp on a marquee here, I'd be kind of surprised. And it's a weird one, because if they have it so, like, people have been throwing out like maybe it won't be a 7-star cam. If they have it so cam is like 6-star or something like that needed, that will be in the third requirement. It won't be in the second
Yep.
set.
Absolutely.
And I think they'll have a marquee for the second one. So if you see like a light side Galactic Republic Jedi marquee come out, obviously that's going to happen. That's going to be it.
It has to be like 100%. It has to be Duchess Satine.
Well, with Bo-Katan there, like, you almost feel like that's a placeholder for Satine, right? Like,
Well, it would round out the Mandalorian faction. It was Kenobi's
love.
only love.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, it's not a bad call, because it would work with Bo-Katan and her team, so that would give it a little bit more
Exactly.
viability. So I mean, I don't argue. I can't argue against that. That would work just fine. Because one of the things that I was struggling with on will there be another marquee is I couldn't think of a Galactic Republic Jedi that we're really missing. That they're going to be like, hey, look, boom, it's a big name. No, there aren't any big names. Like all the big names are already here.
Except Quinlan Voss.
Yeah, but like, it's like you're going and looking and I just don't. I don't see a Jedi being the thing, but yeah, Satine makes sense. If it's marquee, I wouldn't discount that. The other thing that could be is it could be, I was gonna say, that's not gonna work either. Yeah, so yeah, I was thinking maybe like a ship or something, but I was trying to think of the ship, and I'm like, I just don't see it. Like I can't see them dropping something not for like a character we already have or something like that. And then where would it go? I mean, Galactic Republic's pretty stacked. I mean, that's like the most stacked fleet faction, I think. In terms of the viability of their ships. It's like I don't see them dropping one in there. And if nothing fits, it's like, so it can't be that. Yeah, so Satine makes sense. But I definitely think that if it's Relic Cam, we'll see it in the second set. And if it's not Relic Cam, if it's going to be like a 5-star, 6-star cam, we'll see it in the third set and give everybody a chance to buy the marquee that they're going to stick in the second set.
If they put cam in there, it's not going to be 5 or 6 star. It's going to be
Relic. Yeah,
it's going to be Relic.
That's what I've been saying, but I will concede that everybody's screaming bloody murder because they don't want it to be true, and that's the funniest part. It's like there's no logical reason why it will not be a Relic Cam, but no one wants it to. Well, not no one, but most people who aren't in a guild that are getting 30, 40 cam shards don't want it to be. So they're like just really screaming about it, and I'm like, I really strongly feel it's going to be Relic Cam, and I think even though I won't have Cam Relic for like 4 months, I'm sitting here going like, I think it would be almost a disservice to not have Cam there, because the way I see Kenobi's kit working in my head, with the way that Galactic Republic Jedi look, is I bet you Kenobi, his lead, has a Cam-like feature where you're getting a bonus to speed, health, offense, that kind of thing, getting these guys ready to be nightmares, really, making his team really, really strong. So I think that would be there, and it would stack with cams. So all of a sudden you've got someone with Yoda with like 40,000 offense at the start of battle, like just able to do devastating work. That's where I see the Kenobi's lead going, because Kenobi's not a damage dealer. He's not a big. He's got to be support tank. Got to be.
He has to be a tank, and I 100% agree. I think that this kit's going to be all just Galactic Republic Jedi.
Yeah, and
I think that the other Jedi, because we have our teams, like we can't just like nullify the last Galactic Legend, which was just all Jedi. So it has to be like all those you're gonna want Lumi, right? You're gonna want, well, maybe not Qui-Gon Jinn. I don't know.
Yeah,
you're gonna want those characters, right?
Yeah,
and because guaranteed Qui-Gon Jinn's gonna be a Relic 7 requirement.
I think so. I think so.
I think the two bad ones that people are gonna scream about is him, but I think he'll be good on that team. And then I think somehow I just think they're gonna make Cody an R7.
Ooh, youch. I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking Cody was gonna be like Relic 5. And I was thinking there was going to be like maybe Plo as one of the not popular Jedi, even though I think he's a great Relic. He's got a really good kit, and I think he would do really well in a high-end Galactic Republic Jedi team with that TM gain and stuff. So I think Plo, and I'm just thinking about, like, it's got to be Ethkoth, right? You got to have like a Relic 5 Ethkoth. That's going to happen.
Oh, I really hope not.
Yeah, there's got to be one of those just pure trash ones that nobody has.
And
that one needs to be Relic.
And that is why it's going to happen. It's just because nobody wants it. Some people will have a Gear 12 one just because of when people were thinking he was going to be the end all be all of the tank raid.
Yeah.
But that's such a few people. And, his kit is so garbage.
But yeah, it's like it's like we know GMY is going to be one. We know Cam's going to be one. With Mace there, you got to go with the High Council. We know that's happening.
Yeah, I think Mace. If they can make Mace fit on that team and be usable, I think they're going to make a lot of people really happy. So that's why I think that Mace is going to work on that team.
Yeah. So I kind of have this in my head. The idea is the idea is that Master Kenobi is going to be like JML in the sense that he's a tank that doesn't do all that much on his own, but he makes his team ridiculous.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And so I think, well, like people are going, well, Cam needs to be the optimum team. I'm like, I totally agree. And that's why I think like when they stack up, all those Galactic Republic Jedi are going to get like plus 70 speed to start the battle, plus 80 speed to start the battle. And you're looking at, you're looking at the health gains from Cam. Maybe there's a ridiculous amount of health gain, the health boost in JML's lead. I could totally see that happening. Stacking mastery, of course, getting that. So, just one of those where you're going to see some just wonky stuff. Like somebody's going to load up a team with like GMY, Cam, and Gas, and like Barris, and just ruin you. Just like it's going to be pretty nuts.
But I think it's only going to be Galactic. Well, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I keep forgetting Gas is a Galactic Republic, and he is. And
the solve is to make it Jedi Council, make a separate faction, Jedi Council, and have it just the bad guys. And then it'll be Cam, GMY, and Master Kenobi really running that faction, and then you're just throwing in whatever else is there. I mean, Isla would obviously be great with that call assist. You can make some. You could use someone like Mace, and he would actually be usable. I mean, Ram Bam's got to be rock hard thinking of that.
But if they want to make use of the Cam kit, like the Jedi Council ability, then it's going to have to be either support or healer. So GMY. Ayla,
Barris, maybe.
Barris, yeah.
Like, how about what if they made Jedi Consular? Or here's a rough one for you to hear. What if they've got? I was gonna say Jedi Knight Guardian Relic 7. Like,
well, just thankfully,
like the visceral reaction. You're just like, oh my god, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Well, then they might as well make Cup.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he is Galactic Republic. Don't.
Yeah, I know.
It's like don't ask for it. They might do it.
So, but So who's on the Jedi Council? Because Qui-Gon Jinn he refused the council.
He refused
the
council.
Never on the council.
But he was his mentor, so he's in the third. I think the third requirements are going to have Cody, Qui-Gon Jinn. For the dark side character, it's going to be either Grievous or Maul. I think.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, and so. Yeah, that could work too. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to go crazy on his enemies. They could go Grievous, Maul, and Dooku, and be like Relic 7 on all of them, bitches. That would be something I could see them do, because there's overlap on the Sith Eternal ones, so you're giving everybody a little bit of a break on that. Another one that could be there is Padme, Jedi Knight Anakin or Gas. That could be in the third, but that'll be in the third. So that's what I was thinking there.
And that's only if, and this goes into further speculation, we're only going to see Anakins if it's not Fallen Anakin. But they would not do Fallen Anakin.
I don't think so.
Would they?
I don't think so.
Because what would be his tags? Like, because they're trying to make each GL kind of in faction specific, right? So they're not going to make him Sith.
Yeah.
He's not going to be Jedi. He's not going to be Separatist. What could he be? Like, I honestly think that we're going to get Darth Maul as the counterpart. And
Maul would make sense.
The scoundrel GL.
He could do scoundrels and separatists, so you could use stuff like Dooku and Newt with him and stuff like that. I could see that being that could work. But I mean, if he doesn't,
it's not Sith.
I was going to say
or separatists.
I was going to say let's cut separatists out, because technically I think they said that once in one of their questions and answers that they feel that Maul was never actually a separatist because it was pre the separatist movement or whatever when he got chopped in half. Yeah. So say Maul's scoundrel, right? And that could be interesting because once again, would you call him dark side or?
Yeah, he's definitely dark side. He's fueled by the dark side. He's absolutely dark side.
But when you look at say his appearance in the Rebels, right? You look at his character there, like he felt pretty damn gray in Rebels.
Until he blinded Kanan, but
sacrifices
kinda
have to be
whiny.
made. Yeah, Kanan is a little bit whiny little bitch.
Yeah.
So, there is that. But that whole thing with him with Ezra, I thought was really cool. That little interaction, and he got, and it was crazy that Ezra could listen to the Sith holocrons and stuff too. I was like, whoa, what are we getting here? So I'm like, I'm looking forward to, the Ahsoka series and stuff, because I have a funny feeling that you're gonna get like a developed Ezra that's going to be, a pretty capable young semi-Jedi. He's not even a Jedi, a Force user.
Yeah, and you've seen the announcement. We already know who the actor is who's going to play Ezra, so
Yeah.
he's going to be in it for sure.
Yeah, so it's one of those where I'm actually kind of open and like kind of eagerly awaiting him being a very gray Jedi. Like he uses both the dark side and the light side.
But it's funny though that they kind of after that, they kind of went away from that a little bit. They kind of played with that he was gonna go dark, and then he just kind of never did.
Yeah, well, he never did. But it's one of those because he can listen to those Sith holocrons. Like you got to think that he's gonna have some dark side ability. Just because you can't listen to him unless you have dark side affinity.
He's gonna show up in the Ahsoka show. He's gonna put on a Mandalorian helmet, and they're gonna call him Revan. And just inflame
the whole.
the
they will freak the fuck out. I was just thinking, I'm like, man, that'd be like just pouring gasoline on it and just like lighting a fire and be like, come on, internet, let's see the worst you can dish. Like, that would be literally, be, oh my god, the orchestra of whining, if that were to happen, would be impressive. Just impressive. But yeah,
I'm really curious. I'm really curious what they're going to do with the Dark Side GL, because it's just there's no clear winner.
What I've been saying is if they do a separatist one, they can release the assassin droid and maybe a sniper droid, something like that. You can do some of those kind of things, and then you can run it Darth Tyrannus, because he was the big bad guy all through Clone Wars, right? Dooku was like that main nemesis for most of the end of Clone Wars.
If they want to call him Darth Tyrannus, I could see that.
Yeah.
But then Count Dooku was the leader of the Separatists, whereas Darth Tyrannus was a Sith.
Yeah. So you
they're
give
not
him
going to do Sith again.
No, but I say you give him the Sith tag, but you give him almost no Sith synergy because he was a Sith conducting Separatists. So all of his entire kit plays on Separatists, but he has Force ability. He has his Sith powers, but he only synergizes with Seps.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, like that was something that I thought was a good idea because he was the nemesis of Kenobi for a long time. Like, several seasons where it was basically Dooku v Kenobi. And then, you've got some interesting stuff there. Like, you could see them bringing in some of those droids and, maybe boosting Grievous's team a little bit and shifting some of the Grievous droids, or maybe like one or two of them into, say, like Dooku. Like you take your new sniper droid and you drop it in the Grievous team, and he does nasty things there. And then Droid Eka synergizes well with Darth Tyrannus and the assassin droid, that kind of thing. And maybe Newt and like normal Dooku in a team like that or something like that. Or they release, like, I could see them releasing like 2-3 marquees for that though, and really building out that Seps, because if they do a Separatist one, they kind of have to go big on marquees just because everybody has their Separatists like relicked up.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I mean,
just for the gas event alone.
Exactly. And that could be one where almost like Wat Tambor has an actual home, and he's not so long. He can't totally be used as such a Swiss Army knife anymore. That could be another thing that they might look to do with that. So that was something I was playing with, is Darth Tyrannus with only Separatist synergies.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Luckily, my Savage is almost relic, so guaranteed he'd be a requirement.
Oh, for sure. That one you for him you'd have to go. Okay, you got your new Seps, right? So what would be some of the like kind of gnarly ones that he'd have to have? He'd have to have some like Oh God, I already know. Guess what would need to be relic? Night Sister, Acolyte, and Initiate,
Oh
bitch.
gosh. Yeah, sure. Okay. My initiate is trash, but my acolyte's actually decent, so I could do that one no problem.
Yeah, I was just thinking about him. Like, what would be the thing that they would do? And I'm like, I keep thinking about that plot where they try to kill him, the Night
Yeah.
Sisters. I was like, oh God, it would totally be
Yeah.
that. Asajj would have to be there too. Like
Asajj
know,
would be
yeah,
guaranteed.
because
That'd be
of
guaranteed.
she was like the apprentice, and then
Yeah.
spurned and tried to kill him. She'd have to be there. Yeah, but
Mhm.
I could see that being, God, you could almost give him. I mean, it's ridiculous, but you could almost give him Night Sister synergy as well. How crazy would that be?
That's a stretch.
It's a stretch, but he does the deal with Talzin to get Maul and Savage and stuff. Like, I mean, sorry,
Yeah, but
yeah,
he also is in charge of wiping out the Night Sisters at the same time,
yeah. I
right?
mean,
And
he's
then he
not everybody's a prize, you know. You got to
yeah,
take the
and
good with the bad.
like him and Sidious combined, and I guess Grievous were the ones that finally killed Mother Talzin.
Yeah,
If you've read that comic series,
yeah. But I was
um,
just as we were saying it, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, man, if they gave they threw those Night Sisters in there, that would just be like, oh man, that'd be kind of ugly. But they could do pretty heavy on the Night Sister and go Night Sister Separatists on those relics, and you add a couple of marquees and
oh, there's so many marquees they could give us. They could give us they could give us the sniper droid. They could give us Kalani. They could give
yeah,
us
General
the
Kalani would be a great
assassin
one.
droid.
Yeah.
They could drop a crap ton of separatists if they wanted to. There's more people on the separatist council. They could give us.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean,
Geos would be in there. You know, you'd have to have relic Geos.
oh,
They'd be
for
a
sure,
requirement.
for sure. But that's another one where it's like, most people have at least a couple of relics
Yeah.
on their geos, so that'd be one of those ones where they bridge the gap. But you obviously you'd have to have Sunfac on it. No, I don't think Soldier and Spy, but guaranteed Sunfac.
Guaranteed Poggle. 'Cause
Yeah,
he was
Poggle
super-
for sure. Poggle definitely 100%. So Sunfac and Poggle would have to be relic. I still feel like at least one of the bad Night Sisters would be there. Maybe Talzin because of the deal. Maybe. I mean, I could live with that.
I could see Talzin.
Yeah. And then you've got Savage guaranteed. Savage would have to be like that'd be like your relic 5 plus relic 7, something like that. Relic 7 Savage. You'd have to have relic 8 Dooku. That'd be kind of nuts.
Yeah, you would have. Yeah, exactly. You'd have to relegate Dooku. I was thinking that.
But
yeah.
here's the crazy thing for Darth Tyrannus, though, is one of the marquees doesn't even have to be a ground unit. It could be Dooku's ship. That
Yeah,
works.
I'll get
That-
absolutely
yeah.
good as a ship.
That'll work with your Relic 8 Dooku now. Like, I think that would be really cool.
Maybe
So
that would make Malevolence a lot better.
it would help because those lack of assists now are just it adds this level of, I know this is like, I do it every day, and like I said, it's not a problem, it's a breeze, but I know it's going to fuck me in a GAC. I know it's going to. Like, it's just guaranteed it's going to happen. And I'm going to be sitting there losing my mind, like, no assist, none? Come on! I can already see it happening.
Just the law of averages. It's going to happen at least once. I think it's happened to me once, but luckily I was still able to win that match. But I remember it where I got nothing. I got obliterated.
Yeah, that happened. That happened to me today. I managed to recover, but I had Anakin on the ropes. He had the 3 buzz droids. He was in the red. Everything was beautiful. Hyena's turn came up. He basicked. Anakin dodged, and I didn't get a single assist. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what? Like, yeah. And then Plo came out, and I was like, of course. And this is the first time I've ever done this and pulled it off successfully. But I managed to kill the entire fleet but Anakin, and got Anakin at the end. Like, it was bad. I was down to like my G12 Geo Soldier coming off the bench and like closing it out for me.
How do you leave Anakin for last? That's a tough feat.
Yeah,
In itself.
it wasn't on purpose, but every time I would kill him or get him close to dead, it was after the loyalty hit, and so he'd be in stealth and he'd have the shit, and my hyena was dead, so I couldn't get around taunt. So I was like, I worked through the taunts. Plo put a taunt on like fucking fives, and I had to work down fives, and of course the turn meter shit there. He was taking turns, and as I was doing damage to him, Anakin was taking turns, and I'm just sitting there like, I was like, please hit a buzz droid, please hit a buzz droid, yes, like the whole time. It took me 4 minutes and 45 seconds to get that fight through, and it would have been like what's the like a 45 or something. What's the worst you can do without failing?
Yeah, it's low. I think it's, I don't know if it's 45. I think it's like a 50. I think a 50 is the lowest you can go, but don't quote me on that. But
yeah, something like that. But it would have been one of those where it'd been like, well, in a GAC, it's almost like, well, why not just lose? Fuck it. Like, it was one of those. You probably get more points just timing out with Anakin close to dead and then taking in like 2 ships and killing him, like that kind of thing. Unless of course they fucking launch that Undying Loyalty. Oh my god. like to open with the Undying Loyalty, you'd be like, you son of a bitch. But yeah, it's really added that variance that makes these counters is not perfect. Like I've had it a couple of times now with a 5 comp, where you've got 5s in there you can hit with no reinforcements. Where I've had it a couple of times now, like Plo comes out before I kill Anakin. I'm like, what? And every time it happens, I'm like, huh? Like how did this happen? Like
there's some weird little, every once in a while you get this weird little turn manipulation where something happens and I can't explain it. Like it happened to me with a Malevolence against somehow Plo came out before my Hyena went, and I could go after Anakin. I don't know how. I can't explain that one, but it happened.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where like they get all the Valor, it hits, and then I guess they just like get in front of your Hyena, like lap it, something like that.
It shouldn't happen, but it did.
Yeah,
it was really annoying. So.
Yeah, but it definitely would have had to do with the Valor. Like I'm just trying to think, is there a way, like what reapplies Valor? Is there something there? I don't know.
But how every once in a while you're like, so explain to me how sometimes your Sunfac, the turn meter gets manipulated off the beginning. Sometimes he gets he gets the turn before, sometimes he doesn't.
I think that's with when 5s is there and you get hit with 5s and it pumps into that turn meter and then you get to do your stun before. So I've had it happen where I get the stun out before, or it could just be a tie, like it's a tie and then it jumps. But I'm pretty sure that's when Sunfac hits. Sorry, when 5s hit Sunfac. But I'm just trying to think. I know exactly what you're talking about because I've had it happen before. Where I get a stun just out of nowhere. Sunfac goes before the AoE hits from GK, which should be impossible. Like it's one of those.
Because I usually always want to stun. My moves are I usually stun Houndstooth and just kind of lock him down. But every once in a while, all of a sudden, it's my stun is up and Houndstooth has no buffs. The only buff on the field is Anakin.
Undying Loyalty. So you go for the stun there. So I have that happen, and it's funny because in your ship arena, everybody's running the Houndstooth, Y-wing, and Anakin comp. No one in my fleet arena is running that at the moment anyway. And I'm just trying to think like, I mean,
I don't know.
That'd be a weird comp. That'd be a weird comp to play because the Malevolence is still going to rip that up. Like, and it's going to be pretty easy because you're going to be able to get like when you look,
but the turn meter is a little weird. So when normally you can, you can't call the assist with Hyena on Anakin. You gotta target one of the tanks, and then your next move is you bring in Spy and hope that you proc the taunt, burn him down, and then you follow him up and then burn him. But because normally if it's just say like the Houndstooth 5's Anakin, you 5s goes, kills or speeds up your buzz droid, you put the
buzzes on Anakin,
and the buzzes on Anakin, and then you can just do your AoE and then it kills him, right?
Yeah, it puts him into his first death. You've got the buff block, so he's sitting the sit and duck. It comes back around, you AoE's dead. You know?
So the putting in the Y-wing prevents that. You got to work around it a little bit.
Well, what I was just
works fine.
Yeah, what I was just thinking with that, just thinking about how we manipulate Anakin to take a bunch of turns. And that one's just like I would gun for the Y-wing, get the buzz droids on him, and then just start ripping him down. because
But
as
how,
you're
since the Y-wing's so slow, he never procs the more buzz droids. You only ever get one. So you only get one hit on him, and you can't reduce his health long enough, hard enough to proc Anakin.
yeah. I'm just trying to think
It's
because you could almost do like a trade off. Because when you're attacking that one buzz droid with Hyena and or VD, obviously it's not going to get rid of the basic won't get rid of that buzz droid. But when you do it with like Sunfac or someone like Spy or something like that, if you bring him in, then yeah. So you'd almost have to switch to Houndstooth, do an attack there, and switch back, and then do it that way.
yeah, it's not a problem. It's just it adds a little bit of a level of difficulty because then if your spy comes out and you don't proc the taunt on Anakin, then it's
Then
like
yeah, it starts getting pretty messy. Because it is really funny because it's like all that one sounds to me like almost like a stall tactic. Like you fuck around with the way the malevolence attacks you early, and you almost force it to stall until it gets its ult to possibly beat you. And I was just thinking about, I'm like, the mirrors. That's a weird mirror. Like I don't know what I would use to mirror that.
well, then you don't bring Clone Sergeant on there either. So you want either fives or the Millennium Falcon. If it's Arena, Millennium Falcon to come out first. If it's GAC, obviously you want fives comes out, and fives a little bit beefier, and then you're only gonna have one buzz droid. So because if it was Clone Sergeant, then you could put buzz droids on Clone Sergeant. It's Like I said, it's what I got to battle through every freaking day. It's annoying, but
Yeah, that does sound like a really annoying comp. Like I'm tempted to leave it in the arena and see what people can do with it, but I'm also worried that they might start using it.
I'm surprised they're not, because like I said, that's the definitive standard defense on my arena shard.
Well, I mean, yeah, I flat out haven't seen that comp before. Oh, and that's not true. I think the Russian guy left it a few times. I want to say I beat it with my malevolence, but it was one of those where I just kind of was like, whatever. I just was feeling it out. But that's an interesting one. I'll leave it and see what people think about it, because it's not. I don't really drop very far in my arena, because my arena it's really active in the top 20. It's just not really active after that. And there aren't a lot of people outside of the top 20 that can move the people in the top 20. So it's kind of a weirder one. And that's another one where I'm also the admin of that fleet shard and and the arena shard. so it's one of those where it's like you get the coordination and these with everybody, and they're usually pretty cool about kind of going around the people in the shard or whatever when they do it.
And both my shards are like that too. Like my arena shard, my character arena shard, if I fall to 20, it's a bad day.
Yeah.
But my fleet shard, there's about 75 people.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of outsiders that people were trying to coordinate to obviously to keep out. But it's standard drop in fleet is 28 to 40.
Yeah, that's a pretty rough one. So I have the opposite in the arena shard. Arena shard, my drops usually, here's the funny thing. Like I can sometimes overnight at like 7, but 2 hours before my payout or 3 hours before my payout, when all the Russians come in with their C's, they just knock me back. And I'll go from like 7 to like 40 in 3 hours or something. Like right before I'm about to start my climb, I'm like, this is gonna be an easy day. And the next time I look, I'm like, 44. What? Oh. Yeah. So you get that sometimes, and it's a weird one because my shard's got a lot of obviously it's a newer shard, a younger shard. So a lot of these people only have one GL, so you can see some really weird climbing. And like I said, there's like a Russian contingent that go in the morning, like early morning, and they literally can only climb on JMLs. So like if you get stuck in the path, like they'll just follow each other up, and it can get pretty ugly pretty quick.
Oh yeah. So what do you set as your defense team?
I do the JKR Watt JML team with Gas and JKL. It's usually pretty good. There's a lot of Sith Eternals in my shard, and a lot of Slackers, and then not a ton of JMLs and not a ton of Rays, like very few Rays.
So why don't you put the Bastila team on defense, because that's C-proof?
Well, the problem with the Bastila one is you get Slacker and Watt can smoke it as a duo, like just flat out smoke it. You put gas there, and
Yeah.
they can still take it out with Slacker, and it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah. So there are a couple of guys that do the Bastila lead and leave it overnight, but I find that they fall pretty far, and it's a weird one. So I'm not sure why I think the JKR gets avoided because like I have a Relicate gas and he's offense modded, and going against other guys with my C, other guys that do the JKR lead puts a lot of extra damage on that JML team. So you can get a bunch of teams deleted. Not everybody mods their C well, so like mine, I'm not really worried. By the time I get my ult, like you don't have a chance at killing me before I kill your whole team. So, but some of these guys just have silly easy, like silly life
Oh.
C's with like
Crap
100k
mod.
health, and you're just like, what? Like, how's that gonna work? And then you hit him twice with Slacker and he dies. You're just like, okay, like that was easy. Like, so yeah, there's a lot of bad modding in some of these accounts where they have just the one GL, and like there may be 3 million, 4 million GP or something.
The one thing I do differently with my Bastila team is I run Bastila, Jedi Knight Luke, Jedi Master Luke Watt, and Chewbacca,
Oh yeah,
and I have it modded so that Watt is guarded.
yeah, that's pretty gnarly. That's actually a pretty good idea.
So it prevents, because a lot of people will just take in
Han.
something with Han, right?
Yeah.
But that prevents that, because I had a guy bitching about that in my Discord tonight.
I almost want to try that just to fuck with people.
Oh yeah, because I caught a guy using like a Darth Revan team with Han Solo, and I was just like, oh, you cheeky bastard, I'm gonna fix you, and now
Yeah.
he avoids me like the plague.
Yeah. That's actually something I'd be interested in trying.
So then you are still susceptible to the Jedi Knight Revan Jedi team.
Of
like
course,
Jedi
yeah,
Knight Revan,
yeah.
Gas, Luke,
But-
Jedi Master Luke, and Hoda.
But it's like now they're gonna have to mark Chewbacca to start really to get it moving. I probably would still mark JKL there, but
No, it's still gonna beat it. It's still gonna
Yeah.
like the Jedi Knight Revan team's still gonna beat it. But so anyone that gets cheeky with Han isn't gonna beat it. Anyone with C is gonna time out
Yeah.
on JML most likely. So you're just kind of limiting yourselves to getting hit by SLKRs and Jedi Master Lukes.
even then the SLKR is gonna have some real problems. Basically with the tenacity down and the ability blocks and all that stuff coming in from the team, the blinds and everything, the buff blocks, because if he's not getting advantage and stuff, that's going to be kind of awkward. I mean, I don't think they're going to lose, but it's going to be one of those ones where the fight's going to be not worth people's climbing effort. Yeah. So I was actually thinking about like when I get Rey, like a Relicate Rey with. It always held, like the guys who have Rey, who had the big Jedi Titan team and stuff, like that always held really well just because Slackers didn't like attacking it. It took too long.
Yeah, because it's annoying. Even with JML, it's freaking annoying. I don't like doing it.
So I was just thinking, I was like, I could try leaving that in for a few days, see if people avoid it. Because I know, it was really weird, because I think I lost to it once with my Slacker or something, but a lot of the guys who aren't, I guess, I don't know, up on all the counters and how to play them and stuff, they were complaining about it in the Shard chat, like back in the day before, those guys got sick of setting their Rey and they, would leave something else in. The guys who have Rey also quickly had JML, quickly had C as well, that kind of thing. So they were playing with other toys. But I was just thinking, I'm like, it would be interesting to see how that holds. And then I was like, do I go, and because there's all those C's, and the C's are going to be like, well, they're Jedi and whatever, I'd go super high offense and just see about melting some C's that way, see if it works. Because that's one of the things that's starting to bother me is getting dropped by the C's on the accounts that don't have a lot of stuff.
Like the 3 million accounts with 1 GL.
Yeah, they have like the 1 GL, and then they're using like a 3-star Watt, that were like a 2-star, 3-star armor and stuff. It's like, I don't have a problem getting bumped and everything, but like there should be some sort of like, bare minimums, like It's
Yeah. No, I
annoying.
feel you.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's annoying to see that. There was a guy that had like a G12 GBA, G12 Han, G11 Han, and like a G 11 armor or something with like 3 stars, and then he was using like I think GBA or something or Thrawn, like the fourth, was like that with C, and he was doing that to climb, and I'm like, that's not right. Like that shouldn't be a thing. Like fair play to him for climbing with what he's got. Don't get me wrong, but it's one of those ones where it's like seeing all that gold and purple shouldn't be the case in the top 10 or top 20 of the thing, and which is basically why I'm positive that doesn't matter what they do with Master Kenobi, C's going to walk all over it on defense, so it's not going to be able to be really left on defense.
Yeah, sadly, I think that's going to be the case. It's
Yeah.
just because I think Jedi are just going to get melted under C again.
Yeah.
But whatever, the arena is balanced, I guess. They did say they wanted to give us their rock, paper, scissors, and we have it. It is definitely here now.
Well, it was one of those where I think this is more about making the arena such a pain in the ass that we never, that we don't cry when they steal the crystals from it. So I think they'll lower the crystals on this and then shift them out a little bit, so like everybody gets a little bit more every day, but it won't be worth it for you to spend hundreds and hundreds of crystals to, or 100 crystals a day or whatever to climb to one if you have to. Because there's going to be like 300 galactic legends in your shard, and you're going to be just getting passed around if everybody's doing it. So I think that they're going to be they won't take away the squad arena currency or anything, but getting a good amount of it's going to take a lot of time going forward and stuff. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen, just because they don't like giving out all those crystals. I guarantee it. And with galactic legends all killing each other. And it's a weird one, because it's like you've got to assume that Master Kenobi is going to be able to kill all of them with his optimal team on offense.
I hope so.
You got to assume.
So.
I mean, that wasn't the case with C and JML, so it's like, what if that happens again?
So I don't know. Like C, maybe I could see it struggling, and I hope it's a really good SLKR counter, because I feel like we need another one of those, another option to kill SLKR, because we're killing him with Jedi anyway, regardless. Not regardless. Like there's some Vader comps out there that can beat him and stuff, but
I'm not. That's one of those ones like that. Just makes my stomach turn. The idea of using Vader there, because man, one swipe and it can end. Even with the Traya lead and everything, it's just like the characters are pretty soft. They can't absorb that slacker death coming at them.
Well, if you have a high relic stormtrooper, he takes that initial poke like a champ. The team is what it's: Traya, Thrawn, Vader, Watt, and Storm.
Yeah.
So you do have to eat that swipe, though, which is why you almost need an R8 Vader.
Yeah, I was gonna say Vader. When I see people with their Vaders in either their slacker comp or their C comp in the arena, and I just C specifically, if it's like C and Vader in there, it's like I do the same thing. It's like poke, swipe, bye Vader. It's like he doesn't live through it, really ever.
And I'm one of those guys. I like the Vader comp in my C squad, just because I run C, Traya, Vader, Sith Trooper, and Malak. Traya, just because they focus. The Jedi Knight Revenant is always going to mark Traya, and they focus on her, but they're not going to kill her before Vader gets a turn. Cleanses all the stun and all the debuffs from Jedi Knight Luke. And then he's going to Merciless, and he's going to go around, and he's going to ability block everyone. Whack, 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 whack. Ability blocks around the board.
Yeah.
And then it's easy.
I've been using C with Sith Trio and Malak, and it's a funny one, because some of the battles, especially against the JML lead, I mean, I sometimes will finish the battle with everybody standing, which is weird. And then JKR lead, I always lose Nihilus or Scion and Traya, always. Yeah. So there's there's more damage coming at you, but once you start throwing spaghetti, it doesn't matter.
No, don't matter.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, it's a funny one. I'm a little bit concerned that that Master Kenobi will either be amazing on defense and really only beatable by C, or terrible on defense, and then all of a sudden territory wars doesn't matter anymore because you've got JML, C, and JMK on offense, and it overpowers what you can set on defense and whatever. And there's everybody's just doing it for efficiency at that point.
They really got to up the zones in TW.
They got to do something.
Like, because especially with 6 GLs, they have to.
Yeah. I agree, because, I mean, you're just going to be seeing half the board as GLs.
Well, you know, they recognize the problem for GAC, so how can they not recognize the problem for TW? What was it, 3 years ago they increased, remember when they increased the zones to 35 per zone?
No, that was before
were you around
my time.
For that?
That was before my time.
Oh, yeah. So we were, even back then, we were screaming for the highest level GPs, guilds in the game have to have more zones. So they're like, okay, we'll fix that. So they launch it, and we were expecting high GP guilds, meaning the top 25 guilds,
yeah,
right, at the time. But no, they launched it 35 teams per zone, and it went down to like the top 150 guilds. We were just like, that's like, it was stupid. It was absolutely stupid. But nowadays 35 per zone would be just, I would love it.
Well, the interesting thing about that is you wouldn't be seeing full zones. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd have to mix, and I think that would be good, because I that's one thing I do find annoying about TW is you're waiting for, like, you spend your counter on something and then you're waiting for the wall to open up to spend your next counter. So if there's two teams to choose from per zone, basically, you know, because I mean obviously you can load one up and then have like 15 in the next or whatever, but you know, you have to have some that go with that 15 as well. So it's might as well do, like, you know, just split them halves and halves with two zones or whatever. Because then you can potentially use 2 counters on one wall, which is great. It'll help the clip go a little bit faster, and it gives you a little bit more. It gives you a little bit more. It's a more friendly time wise for you as the player as well, because you know, if they've set 2 marble walls essentially, you can go and hit the top wall, do 2 counters there. You hit the bottom wall, you do 2 counters there. Moved on, you know, and then you put down the phone, come back a couple hours later, and see what the next 2 walls are. If you can use any of your counters there.
Yeah, 'cause we got so many teams now. It's time. You know, they did it with GAC. Their band-aids ripped off, and the GAC changes were very, very well received, other than like the ship things and a couple little things. But otherwise, very well received because it was a blatant problem. Well, now we have that blatant problem in TW as well. And I know GAC is much more flashier. It's much more nuanced. It's a lot better of a game mode, but there's still a lot of guilds in this game, like a ton of them, that still prioritize TW.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, now that I'm, you know, near the top, I fucking love TW. Like, I really look forward to it. And it's a strange one because it just, I wasn't super crazy about TW before. Like, you know, I was in a smaller guild and I had a focused roster, so I was expected to like kill a bunch of teams and do that. And you know, it was fine. Like, I enjoyed it. I enjoy the PvP aspect of this game. That's why I play it. But it's not the same as like up top. You're in Discord. You're streaming stuff. People are walking people through things. People are asking questions. You know, you're talking mods. You're talking strategy. It's so much more involved. And for me, that's really fun. Like, I really like that. I really like that interaction. You know, as we as a guild are attacking another guild, I think it's great.
I agree.
Yeah. And so, like I said, that would be like the 2 things I think that CG really need to do to keep this game moving forward are, God damn it, the fucking ship loadouts. For the love of everything holy, ship loadouts. Just please.
Wow.
And
a ship load of stuff coming. So
yeah.
Ship load. Maybe that's all we're gonna get is just ship loadouts.
Honestly, I would be so happy with that. I wouldn't need anything else. Just give me that. I'm so sick of switching between fleets and just having to pick each ship. That's really annoying. The other one is, man, update that TW map. And here's the crazy thing, and I don't know, you can tell me what your thoughts on this are, but what about having different maps, basically different maps where something like GAC, right? You know, like, you get different options. We don't know which one we're going to get until, you know, either by the week or by the round. Like, what if your map changed every round and they had like 10 presets and it could be any of those 10? Like, how cool would that be? That would just change. Oh, we got the one where, you know, we can't hide as many battles, blah, you know, that's annoying, you know, that kind of thing. It adds a little bit more of strategy to it, I think, especially if there's maps where you have like one in the middle where your ships are that you don't have to uncover with anything, and then you have 2 hidden zones in the back, so you do like, so you have actually 5 zones, like there's, you know, you've got the one up top over here, then you got the one up top over here, and then you got one in the middle with the ships for both, and then you got one down here in the bottom, and then one behind it, so you can hide in 2 of those zones. You can hide teams, which I think would be great. It'd add a little bit.
I'm up for it.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then same thing with Territory Wars. What if Territory Wars, the fleets moved?
There's no reason why they couldn't do that now.
Yeah.
With the 25 and 25.
Like, how cool would that be if you don't know where the fleets are? So you can't just, you know, try to unlock fleets and get them open. Maybe you get to that zone and all of a sudden it's another Galactic Legend Wall. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, I think that would change the way we attack Territory Wars. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
So would you want a 3v3 Territory Wars?
I
don't.
I was gonna say no, but I don't know. It could be interesting. The problem with 3v3 Territory Wars would be, you know, where you know we are, where like everybody's setting, you know, what, 100-something GLs.
It would be the planning for that. It would be it would be
yeah, that one would be probably too involved. If they did it, I think it would be something that CG would probably regret doing, because no one. I mean, people seem to like 3v3, but not most people. Like I've never seen more auto sets than 3v3. Like watching other people's streams, like I don't get to do it all the time. But there's days when I'll just like, I don't need a nap. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm gonna stream at like 10 or 11. And you know, I've got nothing to do. I've done everything I need to do for the day, and I'm just sitting and like hanging out in people's streams and stuff. And like 3v3 is hilarious, you know, because I'll get, you know, one on each monitor, and I'll have some volume going and just see what people are doing. And you know, it's like, oh, we got an auto set. Well, let's go find another one. It's like, oh, we have an auto set. I'm like, come on. And then I get in my Discord, and like a bunch of my viewers are like, yeah, we had fucking facing auto sets. It's like 3v3, come on. Like,
yeah, that first week is especially bad.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
horribly bad auto sets.
Yeah, and it doesn't get a lot better. There was a guy, one of my viewers in my Discord, I think he faced, it was like he was 9-0 going into his last round. So it was all of the people that were, you know, gunning basically 9-0,
Yep.
and every round of that final round was an auto set.
I don't understand how that's possible.
Yeah,
but,
like
that'd be annoying as hell.
Yeah, I mean, I was blown away. It was like, yeah, and then I think it was like a couple of other people are, you know, they get people that set, you know, nasty defenses and never attack because they're just like, fuck it, I hate 3v3, so you're gonna hate it too. And they set.
I would rather have that than an auto set.
Yeah, auto sets are pretty ugly.
Because then at least it's a challenge.
Yeah,
I got this one guy that I always run up against, and every time he just does that. He's, oh, I'm gonna make your stream interesting, and he sets everything on defense. All of his hardest games. It does make it interesting, but man, it is freaking, it's a chore.
I was gonna say that's gotta be such a slugfest. Like, I had a 3v3 opponent, and it was pretty crazy. It was a pretty crazy stream. You know, in his history, he set mostly 1 or 2 GLs, nothing too crazy. He set some good teams. I had to have a pretty strong offense, you know, like it was one of those where I was going maybe a little bit more offense heavy than I wanted to against a player of his caliber. But the way he set his defense, I just was like, man, this is rough. So I set like 1 GL, and I hit it in the back. You know, and I had my Darth Revan up front just in case he brought his slacker. I was like, okay, you know, I'm going to try to get you to spend a GL on that Darth Revan. You know, and I think I set, I set a pretty stout defense. You know, he got one or two of my Get 2 fleets. I think I might have got double loaded on him. But then I came back and checked the map at like 5:30. And he had set all of his GLs at the bottom front. I was like, oh, God. He had all 3 down there. I was like, you son of a bitch. You know, and I had to, like, prep Ray and then send in JKR with gas and, like, JKL and do that nasty battle. And, you know, I got him down. I got Ray down, and I was basically like doing fucking handstands. But because it was he set such a gnarly defense. I was like my worst score in a long time. It was like I think I got 2096 or something like that, or 2196. It was something like I normally scored about 100, 60 to 100 points more. Like it was a big deal, big variance. And
so you still full cleared them?
Yeah, I managed to full clear them, and it was one of those ones where like we were so emotionally spent, my chat. So it was on a Sunday. On Sundays, we'll do a thing if we get a hype train, then that kind of procs 2,000 bits per shot, and one of the viewers in there bought me 9. And so I don't remember attacking his back wall or his fleets at all. And I had to go back the next day, and I was just like I was playing this thing. I'm like, all right, we're going to try this one here. And it's just, like it's one of those where I was like, man, that's the drunkest I've ever been on stream. And I've fallen asleep twice.
Well, I heard about one of those. I never got to see it, but I heard about that one.
I can send you the pic for that. It is freaking hilarious. Somebody, I think it was Ando, took the photo.
Of course.
Yeah, so it was one of those ones where I've got a photo of his laptop, and his laptop, it's not even like of the screen, it's like of the entire laptop, and there's like sunlight behind it, and it's just like, oh, that's such a bad sign. But yeah, so somebody sent me that the next day, and I'm just like, just out. I had my headset on and I was in the voice chat, so somebody hopped into voice chat, was like, hey, wake up. It's like, I was like, oh boy.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah.
See, yeah. I've had it once where I was so belligerent because I was so drunk. I didn't like pass out or nothing, but I was so belligerent that I went to upload it to YouTube, and YouTube actually wouldn't let me upload it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was like this video is not appropriate for YouTube or something like that. Like, when it runs through its checks.
Yeah.
It would not let me list it.
That's
was
too funny.
All right, okay. I guess this one's staying on Twitch, although now it's gone.
Yeah, so I don't archive anything on Twitch because Twitch covers the whole stream, and it's like I like to play bangers before and after the attack, and then just royalty free stuff when we're doing the normal attacks and stuff. So I record for YouTube. All my playbacks get on YouTube. And luckily I haven't had any rejected, although I have. I was definitely not so much belligerent, but for some reason I had like some swear word name from just about everybody I was attacking, and I was just like, now we're going after you fucking little twat, like look at you, he was trying to steal my banners, fucking asshole, like I just was like kind of losing. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
But then, yeah, like I said, that makes it fun though. You got to do that every once in a while. So.
Yeah. So luckily, like I said, we haven't had a night that crazy since. But that one was like I said though, there was such a huge rush because we got down both the two that we knew we were going to kill. It was his Ray and his JML and his Slacker, and so we got Slacker down. I was like, man, I don't really like the fives thing here. I don't have the cleanup team that I normally use if it's just Slacker by himself. I don't know what I'm going to use on him. And then I'm like, you know what, screw it. We're going to just JML him, and then we'll figure out Ray. And then, so we did it that way. And, and it's, but like when we got that Ray down, I mean, it was like an emotional crash. It was just like, whoa, it's like, I need a schwitz and a nap after this. Oh my word. Like it was pretty all right.
What you got to do is you got to up that bit rate to like 5,000 bits.
Well,
5,000, 10,000.
Because it's one of those ones where it's like I do like doing one or two, and so when it happens, it's great. But yeah, I don't think I didn't expect it to ever go that way, which is kind of like one of those. Of course, it went that way because I didn't expect it to go that way. But I've seen it when it's like cheap. Like Grid did 500. I think on shots and strats or something, he does like 500 bits per shot or something, and they'll buy him like 15, and he just gets absolutely destroyed. Pretty sure he doesn't take all the shots too because he just gets too drunk, and I don't blame him. It's like one of those. But
I guess you could do the old bartender trick and have a bottle filled with like water or something.
Yeah, right? that's not like I like drinking, so I got no problem with it. Like I don't like the next morning sometimes, but But
I like
yeah,
drinking too, but I don't like I don't like puking. Let's just say.
yeah. Well,
I
that's
like
the thing.
drinking, don't like puking.
Haven't done that. Haven't done that on one of these, which is definitely fine. Like I used to work in bars and stuff in my 20s, so I'm pretty used to all the Jameson essentially. That was our bar shot of choice. Little
Yeah, but
Jamos.
we're also a lot old. Like I don't know, like I was a bartender in my 20s too, but I'm definitely a lot older now, and that
Yeah.
tolerance is now gone. So
Well, that's the thing. The
Well,
tolerance never went left for me. But I'm a big guy. I'm like 6'5" and 245 right now or something like that.
oh,
So it's
there you
like,
go.
yeah. So it's one of those. It's like I can pack away a few more than most people. And you know, and I kind of like lose track. Like one of my best friends, he's this tiny guy. He's like 5'7" or something like that. And he's like 155 pounds, something like that. So every now and then we'll go out for drinks, and I'll be like tipsy, and I'm like smiling and happy and everything. And I look over at him. He's got this sign where he's just like, or you see him licking his lips. You're like, oh fuck. And then he's gonna
Smashed.
Irish goodbye like any minute. You know, it's like one of those like he doesn't even say goodbye or something. He'll just be like hey man, I'm gonna go to the bathroom or something, and then he just never comes back because he just bolts right out the door. You know, taxi gets home. And it's one of those where you know every the next morning, like every time it's like, hey man, yeah, we missed you. Like where'd you get off to? And he's just like, sorry, you know, I mean the wife's gonna be up early. I figured I better get home. Like I was like, you drunk bastard. Yeah.
I've done that.
Anyway, yeah, I just realized we've been chatting for about 2.5 hours. Maybe we should, on that
crap.
note, call it.
Oof. All right.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, guys. If you haven't seen Dylarr Twi'lek Tactics, that's him
There
on
you go.
YouTube. I'm going to be dropping that link in the comment section down below. Also going to drop his Twitch in the comment section down below, so you can go and check him out there if you haven't already done so. Obviously, if you've listened this far and you haven't liked and subscribed to this channel, you should probably do that too. And if you don't come and join us on Twitch, I got to say, why not? We have a lot of fun, so come on and join us. And thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate being here. It was always nice talking Swiggo with another good player. And hopefully everybody goes and checks you out.
Thank you very much. Anytime, sir. It was fun. I had a good time.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Well,